it real with you. I'ma keep 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 it real with you.
What's up, MoneyHalla, and welcome back to the Spring Championship. This is going to be the last day of the weekend, and we are looking at our last and final region. It's going to be the North American region. My name is MoneyHalla, and I'll be joining you this fine evening as we embark on our very last stretch. Joined with me is AJ. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, bro. I mean, we have a lot of really good players coming in. It's also my home region in North America. So I love seeing all the players that kind of represent North America, showing them their skills off and seeing who's going to be the best for the Spring Championship. So got a lot of really good players, including some of the best players in North America. And we're actually going to be seeing two of them coming up for our next match, Polly. And our next match is going to be Marckiemoo versus Seeing Shade. Now, what do you know about these players? Because I'll go over what I know, but what do you know? Do you know anything about these guys at all?
I was just about to say, like, you are definitely going to be the caster on the block here that's going to know more about the players tonight. But one of these names are very, very familiar to me, and they're familiar to anyone who plays Brawlhalla at this point, and unless you've been living under a rock. Marckiemoo, level 63 Mordex. And yeah, Marckiemoo has been on an absolute just roll this year and towards the end of last year. And they're going up against Shade. What are you thinking about this, AJ?
I mean, Seed 1 versus Seed 16, PR1 versus PR16. Marckiemoo is the best in North America at the moment, known for his Mordex, but he's also going against one of the up-and-coming North American players that is PR16, but is also playing Mordex. So we have a Mordex v Mordex matchup. We'll have to kind of see how Shade is able to counteract Marckiemoo's playstyle, because Marckiemoo's playstyle is very, very quick and very efficient.
For sure, and I mean, I'm gonna go on ahead. I'm gonna expose myself right now, AJ. Before we went on the live, I saw this game. I saw we had this game, and I was like, okay, that's gonna be a quick 3-0. But you told me that we shouldn't underestimate Shade that quickly.
No, Shade has been, I mean, he's PR16 for a reason. He's been doing really, really well in officials and in community events, and I definitely think he's got the potential of being one of the best players in North America, which he's already like semi there at the moment. But at the moment, he is facing the best in North America at the moment, Marckiemoo. So he definitely has a long way of going in this bracket if he does go ahead and beat Marckiemoo as well. But we'll definitely see what happens. We're all small Fortress Lions. We're seeing a lot of baits and side airs and side lights and a double sider coming in. And Marckiemoo uses all their options. And Shade's actually up over Marckiemoo right now.
Right, I feel like in general there's a lot of mutual respect in this neutral game. Neither one of them are wanting to go for any massive extensions off of any hits that they're getting, because both of them seem to be very good at just recovering whenever they're put into that disadvantaged state.
Yeah.
So they definitely don't want to be caught out, and they really, really know both of these players have the capability to make something really, really big happen out of just a small mistake. So you've got to be careful here.
Yeah, for sure, and both these players' neutrals are very, very good. When I first saw Shade, his neutral was phenomenal, but he's also facing one of the best neutral players in North America. He goes crazy, Marckiemoo with a 3-piece combo.
Okay!
He also saves Marckiemoo just a little bit, and that is what I'm talking about. We're seeing light versus dark. We're seeing Marckiemoo's Esports V5 versus Shade's Esports V2. Mordex on the Fenrir as well, and they're trying to prove to each other, like, hey, I'm better, and the other one's like, hey, no, I am. They're just going back and forth and just having these phenomenal exchanges. And Shade right now, weapon star currently by Marckiemoo, does get that side air, throws the weapon away. DC neutral like comes, recovery misses, but Shade recovery lands.
Imagine if he got the angle. I think he was going for the 45-degree angle off the edge. That would have been crazy, but he's still able to find the knockout just a little bit later. Shade had that initial lead off of the first stock, and he is gonna have to try. He is gonna have to play from behind a little bit now. But I mean, he's been looking solid. It's still definitely doable. Just don't get caught off stage. Marckiemoo was able to get so much on that second stock just by catching Shade lacking off stage. Yeah, I'm so sorry. The SHA, I'm gonna mix that up so many times.
No, you're all good, because I mean, Shade right now is definitely being a powerhouse like Kashadra is in EU, and he's able to actually go ahead and KO Marckiemoo's second stock. This is a really, really close game for winner's side top 16. This is a matchup that I definitely wasn't expecting to be this close, even expecting it of this matchup. So right now we're seeing Marckiemoo take neutral control. Shade starts to take that back a little bit. They try to bait each other, neutral air and a dare. The dare misses. Marckiemoo does pick that scythe up, and he takes that neutral control away from Shade.
All right. Is he going to be able? No, not able to get a turnaround. Going to catch that GC, though. Not able to get more than 2 attacks off of it, though. Marckiemoo able to slip out. The Nair comes out, the Dare, massive commitment, and it's not going to lead into anything. He didn't get to touch either. Beautifully placed weapon throw. Really, really smart offstage play there by Marckiemoo, and that's going to be Marckiemoo winning the first game here. I gotta say still, though, before the first game started, I mentioned that you know, I was potentially underestimating Shade a little bit, but he's demanding our attention. He's demanding Marckiemoo's attention for sure in this set so far. That was very, very close.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, Marckiemoo is one of the best neutral players. I mean, if not the best neutral player right now in North America, with how he plays with that scythe. And You know, for Shade to be able to be equivalent to him in most situations is phenomenal. We'll just kind of have to see what Shade really does to really kind of make sure Marckiemoo doesn't have that neutral control or that map control or stage control going forward. But Shade does get a little bit risky off that ledge. I think he's got to be careful of his jumps because Marckiemoo is really good at punching off that ledge. Shade is as well, but that weapon throw does miss. Marckiemoo with backward neutral air lands that. Shade now with the scythe getting a little bit too aggressive. The dare misses. Now he's starting to get a little bit stressed out because now Marckiemoo gets the GC side signature unarmed, and Shade's down to that second.
That was absolute domination on the unarmed coming out from Marckiemoo, and as you mentioned at the beginning of the game, Marckiemoo being very good at neutral. We could make a very long list of all of the things that Marckiemoo are good at. One of them I'd like to bring up too is his momentum. Whenever he gets momentum, it's so hard to win against Marckiemoo, and so I mean, looking at the fact of him winning the last game and how he's playing right now, I mean, this might be Marckiemoo in his momentum.
It is, but then Shade comes through that neutral air, lands it on Marckiemoo. Shade with the dare option on Marky. Marky unable to come back to that ledge, thinking that last jump was going to barely reach that ledge and catch Shade off guard. Unfortunately, did not. But either way, though, I mean, you're definitely right when it comes down to Marckiemoo's momentum. But, you know, we're seeing Shade come in different moments where Marckiemoo gives opportunities to Shade. And
dude!
He does get KO'd by going for that.
So worth it.
He makes this set even right now. He's making this game
that was
even.
Crazy. That was such an early knockout from Shade, doing an amazing job at equalizing on that second stock. He swaps over to that scythe, and he has the initial lead over Marckiemoo here as well. Able to find some good hits here in the neutral. Marckiemoo throwing out some of these nairs and some of these side lights, but is not able to find anything.
Yeah, for sure. And now we're kind of seeing Shade have this overall control. I think he got in a little bit into Marckiemoo's mental. And now we're seeing Marckiemoo off that ledge trying to approach different ways. But I think Marckiemoo also knows that scythe approach from the side is so powerful on stage. He doesn't want to overly approach that and lose damage. So now we're seeing this silent into recovery by Shade. He weapon stars Marckiemoo by picking up this gauntlets. He accidentally does a free fire recovery, and Marckiemoo takes advantage of that. He tries to go for that falling neutral air, but Shade's still alive. It was starting to look like Shade might get this neutral light and might get a KO option here in a second.
Finds that Sair. Not able to get something massive started. Shade throwing him off stage with that Sair, swapping over to the scythe here now. Side signature is gonna get whiffed, and Marckiemoo goes for the off stage. He goes for the second ground pound, but Shade is able to turn it around. He finds that nair. He doesn't get hit by that second ground pound. Gets that nair himself though. Recovery to swoop in. The second one is going to be enough, and that's going to be 2-0 on the scoreboard. Still, yet again, Shade demanding so much attention from us, AJ. In that last stock, there was a particular moment where I think I saw Marckiemoo miss like 7 gauntlet nairs and 8 gauntlet sidelights. Shade was just outspacing him so well, but then toward the very, very last moments, Marckiemoo was still able to come out on top.
Yeah, and I think, you know, with Shade, I think he's really good at maximizing on those opportunities. But I think once Marckiemoo has that momentum, Shade has a rough time getting around it. I mean, he's getting in those different spots, but we're still seeing Marckiemoo get that damage build up. And now, for example, we're seeing a damage build up from Marckiemoo a little bit. We're seeing Shade pick up gauntlets, but still, I mean, now you have Shade in the yellow. And every single hit matters when it comes down to a set like this. So now we're seeing Marckiemoo kind of having the momentum, having that control. For Shade, he needs to be able to get right in between that, not miss his attacks, and get that maximization on the Marckiemoo. Because Marckiemoo has been maximizing on his missed attacks, but we're not seeing a whole lot.
There it is, dude. You said maximizing.
Oh my god, dude.
There it is, dude. Shade also knows how to maximize off of those hits. He's telling us. Weapon throw comes out. Okay, Shade is going to be able to get back onto the stage. Marckiemoo, though, D-Light recovery, tries to bait him out with that down signature as well. The second one will do it, and that's 2 stocks even now, AJ.
It is, but you know Shade's still a little bit in Marckiemoo's head. You're seeing Marckiemoo attack a little bit pre-firely too much. Like he's pre-firing it a little bit too much with his attacks, and Shade's going to maximize on that, but Shade also has to be very careful with his accuracy as well. along with his movement, because now he's starting to run into Marckiemoo's attacks. Marckiemoo barely able to touch that ledge, so he's getting really risky for things.
Nice.
We're going to have Marckiemoo in a sweat beats now, and he's unable to come back because Shade removed his opportunities, his recoveries in the air, because Marckiemoo used them too early.
Okay. Has the stock advantage here. He tries to go for the weapon starve, but Marckiemoo is going to be able to pick up those gauntlets. Shade, will he find the weapon? Yes, gets spawned mid-stage. It's going to be that scythe. Finds the end light, gets the dodge, and he's able to get a follow-up there as well, reading the movement. This is a lot of damage, and this is looking very, very possible for Shade to put himself on the scoreboard here, AJ. Marckiemoo with the ground pound goes for the Sair 2. This could be the knockout.
And Marckiemoo is getting risky even off the ledge on his final stock. He's willing to be very, very risky against Shade to kind of get into that mental, because I think Marckiemoo realizes, hey, Shade is a little bit in my mental. I need to kind of fix that for my next stock, but we'll have to kind of see. Marckiemoo gets that three-piece combo. Misses the backward neutral air. Oh, shit, he goes too far.
It's still enough.
And Marckiemoo still gets the KO, and 3-0 Shade. But one thing we have to say is Shade showed his power in the winner side of this bracket. God!
Yeah,
dude.
absolutely. Absolutely. What an amazing set that we had here. And I think you were really on the money earlier, AJ, when you said, I think what this really came down to was maximizing on opportunities. Like Shade's movement and Shade's neutral. We saw it right here. It was on par with Marckiemoo. He was able to play with one of the GOATs right now. But for every single beautifully executed play that Marckiemoo got where he was able to push that advantage, I feel like we had 50% of the time, you know, a small unfortunate mistake from Shade whenever he wasn't really able to get anything big.
I think he was having a rough time recovering after something crazy like that landing. I think he needs to kind of be able to sit back and not over-aggress, because on that final stock of this past game, he over-aggressed. So I think he just has to kind of regroup, make sure he's not going too far into things, let Marckiemoo throw out those attacks, take advantage of those opportunities that are being thrown to you, and make sure you're accurate. Because those recovery frames in Brawl, especially in nowadays Brawlhalla, is so vital. And I think realistically, if Shade's playing like that, I think we see him in top 8 without a doubt on the elimination side.
For sure. I think definitely Shade can make it far in this tournament, and I'm going to be very excited to see them play later, hopefully. And yeah, one of the things I also want to mention, one of the last things I will mention about this game is that last scythe string that Marckiemoo was able to do. I am not an avid scythe enjoyer, so I don't exactly know the moves, but I feel like that exact sequence of moves I've seen 200 times in gold lobbies, and I've seen in 200 Brawlhalla shorts. What I really love about Marckiemoo's scythe gameplay, he has a really like ballsy gameplay that is kind of simple in a way. It's just that most people don't really go for it at the top level, and he has that confidence to go for those things, go for those 0 to knockout options that you see in Kalan montages against gold players. Except he does it against the best.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it comes down to the level of confidence, and that's something that is you brought up as well. You know, with his confidence, it shows in his gameplay. Like when you see him at LAN, he's like, even if he has a flat loss or a very big win, his face is neutral.
He's always smiling.
There's a picture
He's always
going
smiling.
around. He's smiling after the events, but he usually is just flat. Like when he's playing against someone, same thing with Balloon Boy, which we might see on mainstream later. Their face responses are completely neutral. Like they are able to zone out to a point where they don't let their emotions get to them, so they can go into the next match. But our next match coming up is crazy. They're already starting, and we have Sandstorm versus DMT Kamaal. And I don't know much about Kamaal, even myself, outside a couple, I think, in Discords and streams here and there. But they're going against Sandstorm, who's currently on the Priya. And it looks like Kamaal is on the Fate. Oh, and Sandstorm's going crazy with their chakrams. Oh, there's that three-piece combo. He was practicing at max mode with the chakrams a bit too, and now he's currently playing them here in spring championships, and already has Kamaal down into the orangey red of that first stock. Their recovery.
All right.
Good grief.
Let's see if Kamaal is able to retaliate here, sticking to the orb. Try to catch a landing here. Lots of respect in the neutral. Kamaal is afraid of these chakrams, and Sandstorm knows exactly what it needs to do to take Kamaal's stock off here.
Yeah, and right now Kamaal's trying to do something against that. You're seeing him do that dare weapon starving Sandstorm. They're having that scythe, but Sandstorm is very comfortable with this unarmed gameplay. He's probably gonna go for a neutral light, try to land it, but missed it. Goes back to that chakrams, and Kamaal now almost reading that signature, but then Sandstorm was able to outspace it and get that KO on the Kamaal and make Kamaal go down into that second stock.
Sticking to the chakrams here. Able to get a couple of good hits on the landing. Recovery to get an anti-air started. The Sair to swoop in. He can't really maximize off of that offstage. Still just racking up so much damage. This is almost going to be a full stock lead if Kamaal isn't able to shut the stock down.
I don't think it's going to be a full stock lead right away unless Sandstorm starts doing more damage like that. There you go. Now he's starting to get him in the orange. But, I mean, this comes down to Kamaal getting the stock KO. And I think now once Sandstorm's in that lower red, they're having a rough time getting his KO options. But GC Starlight Cider does land. And Orb Dare misses just by a little bit. And Sandstorm does that two-piece combo, goes to unfused chakrams, gets a two-piece, or tries to land the ground pound, almost KOs himself. But Sandstorm gets the two-piece again, was fused, and goes for probably a ground pound more than likely, I would assume. Oh, maybe not.
Okay. This is like more fused gameplay in this stock and this game than I've seen from almost all of yesterday. Sandstorm making great use of both modes here on the weapon. Something that Kamaal is gonna have to adjust to here as well. 3 stocks to 1, finally able to find that knockout with the sidelight Sair. He has a lot of work left to do though, AJ.
They do, but I mean, they definitely have a chance here of being able to turn things around. I think they're just having a rough time regrouping themselves against the momentum that Sandstorm has with his chakrams, as a lot of these North American players are, which is why I think Sandstorm's kind of playing it to kind of say, hey, you know, here's the state of the weapon, or here's the state of Priya right now, to kind of push that meta a little bit and make it more communicative. But we are seeing Sandstorm play a lot more unfused. I know a lot of players have been talking about the fused version of chakrams being, you know, a little bit more of a disadvantage than an advantage. So they're currently playing the unfused for damage buildup and then using the fused to kind of KO whenever they can.
For sure, yeah, absolutely. And finding a great mix of using both of those modes is, of course, something that's very one of the selling points of what's interesting about the weapon. Regardless, Kamaal is going to be able to disarm him of those chakrams, sticking to the orb here. And he wasn't able to find an edge guard there. He wasn't able to find anything where Sandstorm was walking back onto the stage. He was looking for something, but he just couldn't find it. Very unfortunate from Kamaal. Sandstorm is going to take maximal use of this advantage, of course. He gets that stage control, and that's going to lead to an edge guard. D-Light Sair, that's going to be the knockout, and Sandstorm is winning the first game here.
Yeah, Sandstorm is definitely one of these players that is really good at adapting no matter what. They're not sticking with one weapon. You know, they were playing the chakrams to get damage buildup, and then to kind of mix things up, they went to that sword towards the end. One thing I do want to bring up though is Kamaal beat Wubs in the winner side of this bracket, who was playing chakrams as well. Who's known for being one of the better chakram players for North America. So Kamaal, I think, definitely has a really good opportunity of beating Sandstorm's chakrams, but definitely has to find like a way to deal with the movement and the momentum that Sandstorm carries with himself.
For sure. And I mean, Kamaal has beaten some great chakram players in the bracket, but he hasn't beaten Sandstorm's chakrams in the bracket yet. So it's definitely going to be a very large challenge still. Sandstorm going to be able to pick up those chakrams. Kamaal sticking to the orb here. How do you feel about Kamaal's options against the chakrams? Do you think he should go with the orb or with the scythe? And what, man, look at that string that Sandstorm was able to hit. He's still going.
He's still going with these strings, and he's going to keep on going while this weapon's unfused. You're seeing Kamaal doing a little bit with the orb, but I don't think they really know a way to counter Sandstorm with that scythe. And that 3-piece combo from Sandstorm knocks out Kamaal down to that second stock, but Kamaal did knock Sandstorm into that orange a little bit too, even while that big string was happening with the orb. So now they're going to try a little bit of scythe, but they're going to have to find a way to get to that movement with that scythe, though, is the problem, because Sandstorm's floaty as heck at the moment.
Yeah, so what I was saying before Sandstorm interrupted me with this flashy gameplay, it looks like he's trying to do it again, but Kamaal is going to be able to punish him this time around. Sidelight Sair comes out too. Sair, that's going to finish the stock. So AJ, orb or scythe into the chakrams. What are you feeling right now coming up from Kamaal?
Kamaal's been doing very well with the orb. I think it's what they've been able to do with damage buildup. I think they're just having a rough time KOing. And also dealing with, I mean, I think the movement is the biggest issue for him. I think Kamaal can do the damage. They're just trying to find a way to fit themselves in Sandstorm's movement, but they really can't, because Sandstorm now is able to go and get the signature KO, and Kamaal's already down to that final, right? So it's like,
also,
it's a...
Yeah. Also a little bit jittery, right? I mean, just look at that signature that Sandstorm threw out. Kamaal had a lot of time to react to avoid that signature, but potentially getting a little bit jittery with his movements, trying to play very quickly, which whenever you're against Sandstorm, you gotta play quickly, but it's difficult to play quickly and precisely at the same time.
It is for sure, and right now you're seeing Kamaal get that downlight, misses that signature. Its recovery lands with that sight. Now back in the orb, it's going to go for sidelight, side air. Misses that sidelight. Sandstorm knows that's going to happen. Gets that there once. He's going to go for it probably again here once they jump. Oh, but Kamaal gets a two-piece. I mean, Kamaal's starting to do a little bit, but you're definitely right. They are a little bit jittery. They're also pre-firing a lot of things, and both players are, and Sandstorm's been getting the maximization most of the time, but Kamaal gets that sidelight, side air, and it's currently in one stock off.
And it's such a difficult situation right now for Kamaal, because like if he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's like, okay, he needs to find a better precision, he needs to slow down. If I slow down, Sandstorm is gonna run me over though, so it's kind of like a lose-lose at this point. But he's able to get Sandstorm down into orange, and it looks like he's conquering this lose-lose situation right now.
Oh, but they do that recovery, and Sandstorm takes advantage of that recovery range and gets that three-piece string combo with Chakrams. And I think Kamaal just did a little bit of too much of a pre-fire there. I think they were using all their options to get back to that ledge, but Sandstorm realized that they didn't have any more options than just maximize on that. So that's a big deal. If they just did the two jumps to get back to that ledge, except the recovery, they would have been in a better spot. But, I mean, Kamaal came back quite quickly, though. In that second game, but Sandstorm still got that KO.
For sure, and anything is still possible. Kamaal is gonna run it back on this Fate Sandstorm on the Priya, and we're gonna see if Kamaal is going to be able to take this one back. I've gotta say, so far, AJ, the first two games were looking pretty similar.
Yeah, right now, if you're Kamaal, your main goal is to do damage buildup. It looks like they're just a lot more confident now against Sandstorm. Their style has quite changed to a point where I think they have an opportunity of getting this game into their name, but it comes down to how they go about the momentum that Sandstorm usually gives himself, right, with those dodges and everything else. But right now, Sandstorm gets a double dare with the fused Chakrams, tries to get the third, tries to be a little bit risky, but Kamaal takes advantage of that, misses that dare due to that dodge from Sandstorm, and currently it's even, but they're able to came back a little bit, but that was due to Sandstorm's being risky off that ledge.
Yet again, second time Kamaal is able to get back for free like that. Okay, he's going to be able to pick up the weapon. Sandstorm setting up an edge guard, and that time around, he's not going to be able to take stage control back for free. Sandstorm guarding it very well. He's going to find that knockout. Sandstorm, okay, Kamaal was scared to go for that weapon throw. Sandstorm getting in his head a little bit at this point, I think, AJ.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they realize they're facing one of the most notorious players in the world for Brawlhalla, too, so... You know, this is, I believe, the first time they face each other in bracket, and now we're seeing Sandstorm lock Kamaal in the orange, but Kamaal with the follow-up options, but doesn't KO Sandstorm.
Okay. Oh, that's going to be yet another two-piece. Not going to be the knockout just yet. Tries to go for the signature. I like the idea, but Kamaal is going to see right through it. Tries to go for the Sair. Not going to connect. This is such high-risk gameplay right now from Kamaal. Even though he's down on the second stock of red, he knows that he needs to do something big here, because if he keeps playing carefully and he keeps trying to trade in neutral, Sandstorm is going to come out on top here.
Yeah, and that weapon control from Sandstorm with those Chakrams makes Kamaal go into that final stock. I mean, just grabbing him and kind of tossing him around like a chew toy at this moment. And now we're seeing Kamaal trying to do something with that sight. But Sandstorm just goes crazy with those Chakrams. Doesn't go crazy off the ceiling, but does knock Kamaal into the yellow. Gets that two-piece there. Nice little clash for both of them, but then the two-piece into a grab, into a two-piece and recovery!
Man.
And then it's just dominating currently. Kamaal gets the double piece, and Sandstorm willing to be risky, gets that ground pound. And this is the reason why Sandstorm is known for being notorious in Brawlhalla. does get that 3-0 over Kamaal. Kamaal was actually starting to adapt a little bit, but I mean, wasn't able to adapt enough to go out and beat Sandstorm in a game here, but definitely did a lot better compared to the first game though. Kamaal doing very, very well, but Sandstorm, man, look at his chakrams, his overall gameplay with those weapons. I mean, he's just basically putting Kamaal in a place where he could take advantage of him.
Absolutely, and I feel like in the first and the second game, what we were really seeing was, I think, Sandstorm and Kamaal were both doing kind of the same things, playing on the same pace, trying to go for the same things in neutral, being on the same kind of risk management level. It's just that Sandstorm was doing it much better than Kamaal, and I mean, being able to adapt out of a situation like that is going to be incredibly difficult. Towards the end, in this last third game, we could definitely see Sandstorm getting into Kamaal's head a little bit, especially in that last stock. I mean, Sandstorm was just pressing buttons, and Kamaal was just getting hit by everything. Magnetic attacks towards the end. Very well played by Sandstorm.
And looking at damage distribution as well, I mean, 550 damage. All the damage was done pretty much by chakrams outside of 44 with unarmed gameplay. Definitely Sandstorm taking advantage of both the fused and unfused version of that weapon, which is kind of like a mini weapon within itself to kind of adapt to. So players are having to really adapt to those two. And, you know, I think it's funny too, we were looking at the accuracy of this past game. Sandstorm's accuracy was 50%, but because those attacks were so quick, we're not really seeing like Kamaal be able to maximize on them anyways. So looking back at, you could even see it there, their light attack counts and their accuracy is 50%, but they threw out 74 light attacks.
That's a lot.
And that's what, 30 some light attacks that could technically be punished. And then he also threw out a signature that could have been punished too, which I think was punished, right? So that's a big thing. And you're seeing Kamaal's attacks being thrown out light wise. I mean, 23%. I think it just comes down to your accuracy and on this maximization, because that's a huge part of that game. So
absolutely. And I will be very excited to see both of those players later on in the bracket. Of course, we will also see potentially some of the players that we casted previously. A little bird whispered in my ear that we're going to go on a break right now, but afterwards we might get to see Shade again, which I'm definitely looking forward to. I hope you guys are also looking forward to it, so make sure you don't go anywhere, and we will see you guys in just a moment.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back to the Spring NA Championships powered by Brawlhalla. I'm AJ Moore. I am with Polly. We've had some amazing matches for this 1v1 championship on this stream and on the main stream. But now we're getting into a couple more matches on this on the side stream here between some players that we don't usually get to see, right, Polly?
Yeah, we have some names in our stream queue that I'm not all too familiar with. Starting off with this one, we do, however, have one name that I'm familiar with, and I did tease it right before we went on the break. It's going to be the return of Shade.
Ooh, so Shade's going to be back here. They were playing against Marckiemoo on the side stream, and basically keeping up to Marckiemoo's neutral control with that scythe and those gauntlets, and basically keeping Marckiemoo for his money's worth there, trying to beat him there, but it all came down to those ending exchanges. But now we get to see him on the elimination side, going against another player that we really don't see a whole lot on stream, and they're actually going to be facing the player Draggy. And Draggy's PR 48, they have one top 32. This is going to be their second, and they're going to be playing Taros today, and they rocking the Moose Wars avatar there as well. I see that as we get into game number one on Small Fortress of Lions. And let's see how this Taros is from Draggy. It should be pretty cool.
AJ, I don't know if you understand what I mean when I say this, but I feel like watching Mordex versus Taros is watching two opposite kinds of base fight each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I almost kind of view it as different regions, right? Because we're kind of having this from like the skin that Draggy is kind of rocking reminds me of South America, and then we're kind of seeing this Mordex pick from North America. It's like different styles kind of going against each other, which is kind of interesting too.
I'd just be like the Shameless versus the Swagger. It's just like it's such a fun matchup, and Shade so far, the Swagger, definitely looking strong with that double sideline, able to catch that read. Getting Draggy down to their second stock here.
Yeah, Draggy's definitely going to get Shade here, and Shade's being very aggressive in that neutral, and we're definitely seeing that. They're trying to do this neutral layer into a falling neutral layer, but they're not jumping right afterwards. But they are still able to get that dare option there on Draggy. Misses the second one, though, gets a little bit too aggressive. And then Shade's trying to land these attacks. Draggy takes advantage of that recovery frames with the dare. Gets the backward side air. Weapon throw from Shade lands, but stomp side from Draggy lands. He takes that platform, that map control, tries to take the neutral, misses that neutral light, and Shade's able to come in with the side light. This is the second one though, but gets the neutral light, misses the signature, gets the side light, and throws the weapon light, picks up some gauntlets, and gets a side light into a signature that also misses. We're just seeing Shade throughout a lot of these attacks that are just not landing against Draggy.
Yeah, and especially in that opportunity where he almost had a knockout opportunity on the left, when he missed the reverse there, I think he literally just mistimed it by one frame, because if he turned around and then waited one frame before daring, he would have had enough momentum to catch him with that dare. I think he just pressed it a little bit too early. So it's insane with the precision of these players, how such small mistakes can make the world of a difference. And Shade able to punish side sig with a side sig of his own on the unarmed, and taking him down to his last stock. He tries to find that Sair, and Shade knows he has to be careful now. Any attack at this point could put him in a position or just straight up knock him out.
Yeah, I think Shade's playing a little bit too fast for Draggy to really be able to land those hits. We do see Draggy get that backward recovery KO on the Shade, making it one stock all, but I mean, Draggy was landing a lot of his axe attacks there, and he was able to kind of keep it more into his favor. But now as we go into his final stocks, we're kind of seeing Draggy try to take this neutral control, is maximizing on Shade, missing these light attacks quite a bit, and we'll see what he can do with those. But as we go further, we're starting to see Shade take that control away.
Yeah, Shade doing a great job at maintaining stage control here against Draggy, which, I mean, if you're on Taros here for Draggy, the stage control is going to be super important for you to be able to find these combo starters on the axe and build up that damage. Shade able to find the knockout with that recovery. He kept control for all of that last stock, and that's going to be 1-0 on the board.
Yeah, and Draggy was doing pretty good against Shade in regarding his neutral control quite a bit. We did see Shade get, to a point where he was being overly aggressive, and there's a lot of recovery frames available, and Draggy did maximize on those quite well, but wasn't able to do it quite enough in that last stock. He was kind of having a rough time really getting that neutral control away from from Shade, and Shade said, okay, I'm going to go with full stride. And, you know, Shade's, I think, light attack accuracy was 41 and threw out 76 light attacks, and also threw out 3 signatures and missed 2 of them. So Shade's going to be very, very careful with how he throws his stuff out, and also just maximize on Draggy's 38% accuracy.
For sure, but I mean, whenever Draggy was connecting those hits, whenever he was looking solid, he was able to make a lot of things happen. What it really comes down to, I mentioned it in the last talk. Oh, this is a good opportunity. Second dare comes out. Shade got the touch, though. It's still a lot of damage, so it's still going to be very good for Draggy here. Gets that dare too. So back to what I was saying, I think the deciding factor for Draggy should be his stage control. If he's able to take stage control from Shade, I think he should be able to win here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of damage build-up's done with the axe and the hammer with the platform control, especially stomp side air with hammer and then sidelight and the side air with axe as well. It does a lot of damage, and you don't need a whole lot of your attacks to land with Taros because he has such high damage, but definitely try to make sure they're accurate to a point where you can get the damage built up in the KO options. Because right now, Shade and Draggy just going flying around. We do see Draggy get that cider knockout, actually taking the lead in this game, number 2 here, and we'll kind of see what Shade can kind of do to really adapt to that, make sure that he's not like over aggressing, not over moving closer, because Draggy's maximizing on that like crazy right now. It has Shade in the orange already.
I mean, I was about to say, I was about to question Draggy's option to go for the hammer there instead of sticking to the axe, but he is making magic happen on that hammer. Will get disarmed though. Shade is able to find that knockout with a hard D-light. Sticking to the side here. Will he set up the weapon starve? He tries to, but Draggy picks up this axe.
Yeah, I think maybe Draggy was like expecting to go back to axe. I think they wanted to go back to hammer. While they're still on that first stock that they had, they wanted to do as much damage build that they could with the secondary weapon, and then have the axe be the follow-up. Because this is where this is the weapon that does the damage and does the KOs usually for Draggy. But at the moment, axe currently is not working. It's keeping things even, but not giving Draggy the momentum advantage. And Shade's taking advantage of that with that scythe gets set there. The GC neutral light into neutral air, and Draggy's down to that final.
GC neutral light into a reverse nair to finish things off was a super nice option by Shade there. Going to get knocked down to his final stock though with a quick stomp Sare. Draggy with the weapon advantage. It's gonna be that axe, and let's see what he's able to do on it. He finds that end light, goes in for the dare. Shade unable to find the punish, and he's gonna take some hits for it.
Yeah, for sure. Now Starlight does come into neutral light, into neutral air. We're seeing Draggy with the dare option there as well. Neutral light does come in. Then we're going to see, a lot of movement, a lot of back and forth. Starlight neutral light from Draggy. Weapon thrower comes in, picks up that hammer. Now having a little bit of a KO opportunity here with hammer. Goes a little bit too early. Shade tries to maximize on that, but Draggy takes that map control and gets that stomp cider, and Shady is out of that final stock. And, looks like Draggy will be going ahead and taking that game into their name.
There it is, set all evened out, and Draggy is not done yet. Looking super good in that second stock, in that set game. And I've got to say, AJ, the biggest difference probably was on that hammer. His hammer was popping off. In the first game, it didn't have as much representation. Whenever he was on that hammer, it was looking a little bit rough around the edges. In the second game, he seemed to prefer it, and whenever he was on that hammer, he was performing quite well. I am interested to see the damage stats if we're gonna have time, because I see they're already loading into their new game.
Well, it's funny because
it's still so much axe.
Yeah, it's a lot of axe, but also Draggy's accuracy went up quite significantly. It went from that 30-ish% down to like a 48 or up to 48, which is really good. And then also just making sure that, you know, yes, he did a lot of damage build up with the axe, but the hammer KOs is what made him have those advantages. But at the moment, though, we do see Shade taking neutral and map control, and that is what Draggy needs to have to be able to go ahead and take the lead. But now Shade's currently in there with gauntlets, is floating around quite a bit, going for some risky stuff, and we're seeing Draggy punish those, and he's just pre-firing a lot at the moment.
For sure, and I think going over to Miami Dome is definitely a map that I would tend to prefer Shade on. Of course, with Gauntlets, you're going to have a slightly difficult time landing against Axe, and so having those platforms is going to be of great help. Shade making great use of those platforms thus far. You can definitely see that he is enjoying this map.
Yeah, and Shade's definitely not allowing for Draggy to be able to come back, and that downlight does come in clutch. You're seeing Shade really say, hey, you know, these platforms I can move around a little bit on, I can get my jumps back, but it also gives a little bit of opportunity for Draggy to knock off that ceiling of the map too. So we'll see what he can do with that hammer. But you're definitely seeing him have a little bit of a rough time compared to some other maps he's been on, but does launch Shade into the orange of that first stock. And Shade comes in with that nice 4-piece scythe combo instead there. Draggy is able to get the recovery though, and Shade gets knocked out of that first stock. But keep in mind, that was because Shade was over-aggressing.
Yeah, Shade got robbed there, I can't lie. It was looking so good, and then Draggy was able to shut it all down with just a single recovery. Now, Shade on their new stock is already taking quite a lot of damage. Are they going to be able to find the knockout? They're not over-aggressing right now for that offstage, opting to go for an edge guard instead. Are they going to be able to catch the landing? The neutral signature comes out, but it's not going to be used properly. He's going to have to find it a little bit later. Still didn't take any damage for quite a while there.
Yeah, Shade definitely having the control on Miami Dome so far, gets that neutral air. You're seeing Draggy try to take that map control, gets that stomp side air, might be able to get this KO, but misses that recovery, misses the GC neutral. Shade's missing a lot of these late attacks, and you know, we're seeing Draggy miss a couple of them, and one's gonna land at one point, so Shade's gonna be very, very careful with how Draggy's playing. Like, stuff like that will come out of nowhere and catch him off guard. And we're seeing that fantastic stomp side into that unarmed GC downlight ground pound KO, making this thing one stock all.
Sticking to the axe now. Shade going to be able to pick up a pair of gauntlets though. Sidelight is going to whiff. Not able to find that punish. Gets hit by the end light. He's thrown off stage. But Draggy struggling to find that edge guard. Oh, that could have been so massive, but it's not going to be enough for the knockout. It was so close though.
Yeah, Shade's going to be very careful. He's going to go for that final recovery. He has to make sure it lands. He can't just pre-fire that. I mean, if he pre-fires it, it's so risky. And I think Shade realized that and then went back, expected Draggy to go ahead and go a little bit further down and got that recovery. Very nice job from Shade, but that was very, very close game and number 3. So, I mean, shoot, this could go either way going into game number 4, but you're definitely seeing Shade. I definitely think we're not going on Miami Dome anymore.
Yeah, that was the second map that Draggy banned, actually. So definitely didn't want to play that anymore. And we are getting into what could potentially be our match point here. Yet again, Shade versus Draggy. It's been a good set so far, and there's been a lot of back and forth. But Shade's looking to bring it home right now.
Yeah, for sure, and we're kind of seeing this back and forth here between these players. We're seeing Shade try to be a little bit aggressive off that ledge, expecting Draggy to follow him down there a little bit. That's going to allow for Shade to get that jump read on Draggy, but then also Draggy gets the double dare KO instead. Yes, he did not have a jump, but he was able to rebuttal very, very nicely and take that lead in game number 4.
There it is. You can't get caught slacking off stage like that against Draggy, man. He's gonna find those axe dares and he's gonna punish you hard. Now Shade on these gauntlets, a stock behind Draggy, and he keeps finding even more damage on this axe.
Yeah, for sure, and we're kind of seeing their cider coming from Shade. There we go. Draggy does get KO'd. He didn't have any more options coming back to that ledge because of how Shade KO'd him by keeping him in that air and not being able to get any more jumps and recoveries back. So now we're seeing Draggy on a clean second stock. Shade's going to try to do some damage buildup. Sidelight Dare comes in, tries to do a weapon throw downlight, but a downlight misses and allows for Draggy to get some punishes here.
Racking up even more damage here. Finds that D-light. Very nicely placed. Shade able to get that landing, but Draggy is going to find that neutral light. And look at that, Draggy doing such a good job at maintaining stage control here, and he just keeps finding these winning plays in the neutral.
Yeah, we're seeing Shade take this neutral control away from Draggy, take the map control. Draggy's been able to go ahead and try to do some counters there. Almost got punished pretty easily, but Draggy gets neutral aired. Shade's trying to do that weapon throw, trying to weapon start Draggy, goes over to the scythe, but Draggy's also not too bad with some unarmed gameplay too. Picks up axe instead though, he has the range. Shades has to make sure he gets this punish now or else it might be in favor of Draggy here. And Draggy gets that side air, and that's what I was talking about.
It's going to be the knockout. Draggy sticking to the axe here. Going to see if they can find any damage build-up onto Shade here. The Game 5 dream is still alive, AJ. Draggy able to find some good couple of hits here, taking Shade down into yellow. He's looking for a side light, he's looking for a down light, he's looking for anything to get a combo started. Gets the Seer to knock him off stage, so that's actually going to be enough. Very nice stray hits found by Shade.
Yeah, and right now we're kind of seeing Shade kind of trying to make things a little bit better for themselves here, trying to win the set 3-1. But if you're Draggy, you want to make it go into a game number 5. You're seeing Draggy have that axe neutral light. He's going to take that map control again. He's going to try to do these down lights here and there. Does get the dare down light, but does not KO. Shade maximizes on this 4-piece combo, but then the weapons are DC down light in the crowd now lands. Shade, Draggy is making this go into a phenomenal game number 5, and that's the way to go ahead and do that coming out of Draggy. Phenomenal job with that offense control. Wow!
Incredible last stock from Draggy. I want to see this on the replay again. Able to, yet again, I feel like Draggy, one of his main strengths is like just exploiting and capitalizing super well off of super small mistakes. Silent
dare, or ground pound into dare, and then GC down light into ground pound because he used all of his jumps to come back to that ledge. Shade got a little bit risky. He got impulsive with his jumps. Dang, that was awesome coming out of Draggy though. But we're going to game number 5 between Shade and Draggy, and we'll see kind of what happens. But I mean, now we're on in the Western Air Temple. You have 2 platforms to worry about. This might actually benefit Shade.
In so many encounters where Draggy is winning, it's like the only thing that's making him win is like one weapon throw or one axe dare. But the thing too is like you gotta find those, and you can't hesitate for even a single frame if you want to be able to capitalize off of those moments. And Draggy is just consistently able to exploit those mistakes to the fullest. And I think Shade might have to be a little bit careful here. Draggy could make a pretty nasty upset here, man.
He could for sure. It all comes down to this final game for both these players. You're seeing Shade trying to prove himself to go ahead and get his first top 8 on the elimination side, but you also see Draggy just being that guardian of basically the rest of the bracket for him. And Draggy actually gets that signature KO with the hammer and knocks Shade already down to that second stock within what, like a minute-ish? Yeah, within exactly a minute.
Shade on the side though, able to equalize quickly, and he's gonna have that weapon advantage now whenever Draggy is spawning back. He's able to find that on a hammer very, very quickly though. Able to pick up a dodge. Is he gonna find something big? He needs to be careful of that hammer recovery, and he knows it. He didn't want to go for anything massive when he saw that Draggy started fast falling.
Oh, I don't think he meant to taunt, but I think he accidentally taunted there. And now we're seeing Shade.
Might be a controller player.
Maybe. I definitely was. I think he is actually a controller player too. So now we're seeing that one attack hit. Neutral light lands, misses the follow-up option, gives Dragon an opportunity to attack, but he misses. 2-piece hits from Shade. Nice neutral layer as well. Just trying to do something, but this out there, throws it away, picks up Scythe again. Trying to outspace that hammer, but Stomp Cider does come in clutch. Can Shade go ahead and control a little bit more Dragon without being too aggressive or throwing those light attacks out too quickly? And Dragon maximizes on that because Shade's throwing these light attacks out and they're not landing.
Yeah, Draggy in the lead here for the second stock. Shade able to pick up those gauntlets though. Dare is gonna find its mark. D-Light will too, and he is getting this chip damage. You can't be taking these hits, Shade. You need a stock and you need it right now. Sidelights here.
Yep, nice dare coming in from Draggy. Oh, Shade missed that sidelight and Draggy punished him. The neutral comes in, but the recovery comes in instead. One stock. Oh, it's going to be down to the wire. Can Shade bring this back? Will Draggy win over Shade? 3-2. Shade trying to leave his mark, but Draggy trying to stop him. Stop Cider comes in. It might be down to the wire here for Shade. Shade trying to do something, but Draggy gets 3-piece, and now it's in the yellowish orange. But that Cider comes in from Draggy. And there you have it. Draggy beats Shade 3-2 to advance further into that bracket by maximizing on those recovery frames of Shade. And what a way to do that.
Super even game, going down to the very wire in the 5th game, and Draggy, what a show he was able to put on, still able to come out on top with yet again a pretty nasty upset, AJ. That's going to be PR48 advancing throughout the bracket, sending down PR16. Both of them kind of up-and-coming players, but Draggy definitely the underdog in this situation.
Well, and considering too, Shade's out of this event. Like, he's out after that match. This is the elimination side. So now we see Draggy advancing further into this bracket. We'll be facing Meg D a little bit further. And we'll kind of see how that Taros does against Meg D's Val, but a little bit later. But at the moment, though, that was a great set to kind of see how, you know, Shade was kind of responding after that Marckiemoo set. I think it just comes down to him just getting his mental a little bit more figured out, of just not attacking too quickly and being able to readjust appropriately. Because against that Marckiemoo set, though, Shade went crazy. So I think Shade definitely still has that potential, just has to figure out a couple mental things. But Draggy came in like nothing else, beat Volz, then went ahead and beat Shade here, and showed his axe and hammer potential.
Yeah. And dude, I gotta tell you, I'm on the stat page right now, and I'm just kind of clicking around randomly, and I found something pretty interesting. So, Draggy got 65th at BCX 2024, right? And I mean, that's a pretty respectable placement, but do you know which 2 players took him down? He got sent down by Wes and Luna. He took both of them to Game 5. I did not know about this. I did not know about this.
Yeah, I remember talking to him about it at LAN, because I've met him a couple times in person, and yeah, I remember seeing that. I remember hearing that from him as well, and he just went against Demons in BCX, but, you know, he got 7th in that Frostbite event as well, and then got 25th in the Winter Championship, and, you know, Draggy is coming into this event and improving his placement from Winter, so props to him, and you know, he's beaten some notorious people, dude. I definitely want to see him more of him, but we'll definitely see how he does with his neutral control, because there was a lot of opportunities that Shade did give him. They did maximize on, but he kind of gave some out too. So we'll see how he does against Meg D. I wish it for the best going forward. Wish seeing Shade the best going further as well. And yeah, that was an awesome set.
Now I gotta ask you about this. I gotta ask you about this next this next set, AJ. We have Wubs going up against Swagathon 5138.
Swagathon. So oh wow, okay. So Swagathon, I remember seeding at one point. I remember seeding him actually in Trial of Frigg. They are PR 324 because they got 33rd in Trial of Frigg. They beat Wubs actually in that event. Thinking about it,
no way!
3-2.
Swagathon 5138 has a winning record against Wubs, and it went to Game 5. But since then, I mean, Wubs is playing Chakram. A lot has happened since that tournament.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see how Swagathon's Petra does going forward. Has not gotten a top 32, so this is, I believe, their first top 32. So props to them on that, but they're trying to go for that top 8.
Yeah, nice.
So let's see what happens here.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see what Swagathon 5138 is able to do. And yes, I will continue to pronounce the entire name. That's just way too funny.
I don't blame you one bit. So we'll definitely see what happens. I know he's currently facing Wubs' Chakrams. Wubs has been playing Chakrams a lot fairly recently to kind of maximize and kind of take advantage of the current meta of the 1v1 scene for this patch. And actually, Swagathon's doing not too bad. Is able to keep it even.
Yeah, doing super good so far. Able to make some magic happen on this orb coming out from the Petra. Able to find a nair, trying to set up a little bit of an anti-air here. Wubs trying to swoop in for that dare. The second one will connect. Sidelines into nothing.
Yeah, well, Swagathon didn't want to get it countered by the Chakrams, and you're seeing Wubs be a little bit aggressive unarmed. And Swagathon does go and get those counters, picks up Gauntlets, tries to go unarmed down signature. They're trying to taunt Wubs a tad bit, and now you're seeing Wubs that sword sidelight into that backward signature as well, and does take that lead. But we're seeing Wubs throw out a lot of these light attacks, and you know, oh, but I should say that.
Oh no, no, not like this, Wubs, not like that. Swagathon Swagathon 5,138 going down to their final stock, and he tries to go for it again. There's no way, please, no! There's no way!
He doesn't do it off that ceiling. He knows the potential of that, gets the recovery instead, gets his jumps back. He's gonna try to do one more time, I think. There we go. He's gonna go up to that platform there, get that there, gets to there again. Oh, goes off the ledge. Almost had that follow-up opportunity. He might be able to 3-stock here. Swagathon knows that. He's not gonna be too aggressive. Goes back to orb. Oh, nice
Can't
hole.
go for it again. He can't go for it again. I can't handle it, AJ.
I mean, he isn't at least on this stock. It's not gonna be a 3-stock, but he's definitely gonna go for it again. I know how Wubs is. He's gonna go for it, without a doubt. Or else he's gonna do some one-arm gameplay.
He couldn't find the GC. Oh, still able to get a couple of good hits though. Swagathon 5,138, trying to make his way back onto the stage, able to do so, and getting some good damage onto Wubs here, but it could be too little, too late.
He's got to be careful. He can't float against Wubs because Wubs has such a powerful weapon in the air. And now we're seeing Swagathon almost get launched into KO, but trying to get that combo knockout on the Wubs. Wubs barely able to come back, but does get GC down like ground pounded. Imagine Swagathon comes back with the reverse 3. That would be crazy, but it all comes down to what Wubs does. He's going to go ahead and do some on our gameplay, try to pick up that weapon. Picks up sword instead, though. He might be a lot more comfortable with that. Oh, and that GC downlight sider does come in, and Wubs takes game number 1. But what a exchange of events that happened that game.
Yeah, wrong direction and like toward the end. I gotta say, like if you don't count the fact, no, like that's literally a 0 to knockout. That's a 0 to knockout, and Swagathon still made it look even, right? He made it back. 1 stock to 3, both of them red. He was able to get back quite a lot.
He was, and now as we go into this next game, I mean, this came down to Swagathon doing that neutralite backwards as well in that final KO, but I mean, look at how many lead attacks Wubs threw out. He threw out 90, and his accuracy was 30%, so we're seeing Swagathon maximize on some of those, but Wubs keeps throwing out these late attacks, and if he keeps on making them miss, we're going to see Swagathon punish him. Yeah, for sure. Let's see if he's able to make even better use of that. Yet again, I gotta say, one of the main factors for Swagathon 5,138 is just gonna be don't get 0s knocked out. Don't let Wubs hit you with that funny business. Or being floaty against him. I think is a big critical thing for Swagathon as well. You don't want to be too floaty against Wubs. You don't want to have that opportunity for Wubs to do that 0 death or any string against you. If he takes that map control, takes the neutral, that's all he needs. Oh, got risky.
Side signature isn't gonna work. Wubs doing a great job at getting some chip damage here. He goes to the top of the stage. Swagathon was trying to look for a GC sidelight there. Could have been massive, but no. Wubs isn't gonna get hit by it. Get some good couple of hits, but not gonna lead to a knockout. And I mean, getting a knockout can be surprisingly difficult on those chakrams.
Dude, I love how we're seeing Swagathon mind gimp Wubs. Like, he's making him bait different attacks. He tries to go for the GC signature, and Swag just goes for GC downlane in the ground pound. He just is able to kind of get into Wubs' mental a little bit here. And right now, Swagathon is currently up over Wubs. Even if Wubs KOs him here in second with either fused or unfused, he's just throwing these attacks out.
He was so scared. He was so scared. He used like 2 jumps of recovery and a dodge to get away from Wubs just because Wubs had stage control, and I don't blame him. Wubs is so just menacing on those chakrams, and he still was able to get some damage in. Swagathon 5,138 is respecting these chakrams.
He is, but I think he also knows how big of a combo builder it is as well. He's willing to use all those jumps. Oh, but as I say that, the Wubs almost get skimped off that ledge by Swagathon. Had a huge opportunity, but Swag just wasn't able to get down there fast enough. And now we're seeing Wubs with that 2-piece. Tries to get the falling dare, does not get that. Swagathon tries to do orb recoveries, but gets into a 2-piece hit from Wubs. The recovery does land a second time. The third one misses, and Wubs having an opportunity of KOing. But Silent Sider comes in clutch from Swag and tries to get a signature out of the thin air.
Okay,
there we go.
Finds that side signature. Swapping over to the gauntlets here. He wants to go for the offstage. Weapon throw comes out. Swapping over to that orb. Keeps the weapon starve going. Not able to punish that dodge. Wubs is going to be able to get back onto the stage. Beautiful way to get back onto the stage by Wubs.
Nice recovery coming in from Swagathon too, and now we're seeing Wubs go back over to that sword, gets that neutral air. Weapon throw misses from Swagathon. He gets risky with the ground pound. Oh, and the weapon throw does land, and Wubs does take that lead.
I've got to say, Swagathon, you have been cooking a little bit too hard this stock, man. That last stock, we were seeing some pretty interesting options from you. Other than that, this is looking incredibly solid, and I do really think this could potentially be the 1-1. Those mistakes, though, Wubs is gonna be able to find those punishes.
Yeah, but Wubs keeps on throwing out these light attacks, and he keeps on missing these attacks, and Swagathon at one point is gonna punish him for it. And now Swagathon's going unarmed, it looks like. Jump neutral air. Neutral air. Oh, but Wubs does get that signature. Swagathon picks up orb. Oh, he's trying to go for a neutral signature, but Wubs gets that punish. Oh, but recovery comes in. Swagathon is in the orange. The dare comes in from Wubs. The sider lands, and the second sider misses. The recovery comes in. Wubs actually saves Swagathon, gets a dare, and tries to clap. They both clap. The recovery lands from Swagathon. They're just exchanging right now.
Finds that recovery, sends him into the air. Wubs trying to return the favor, but he can't find that in air. Signature comes out, tries to punish him with a signature of his own. There's so much whiffing. This is whiff city right now, AJ Moore. No one can connect that move.
How is this top 32? This doesn't make any sense to me. These guys are throwing out these light attacks. You're seeing Wubs really trying to maximize the Chakram's speed of its light attack.
Dude! There's no way!
Swag gets
There's no way!
He can't approach away. He's trying to do his neutral airs. Now you're seeing Wubs trying to do recoveries, trying to KO him, because that's the only way he knows how to KO, and he knocks on Swagathon. But how many light attacks did he throw? And what is his stinking accuracy? We gotta pop that up after replays, because that was absurd. Let's even just pop it up now. 107
Dude, we've all
light attacks, and he missed almost 75% of them.
We've all been there, though. Okay, dude. Toward the end of that game, I mean, let's be honest, AJ. We've all been there. We've all been there. You're trying to throw out attacks, both you and your opponent. You're struggling to find that final finishing blow, but that was excessive. That was pretty insane.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. You know, it's just like we're seeing it. It doesn't make any sense to me. 506 damage with chakrams. Goodness gracious, dude. Oh. All right. Well, we're going to the next game. My brain is dying on me a little bit, or it's KOing a little bit on me. I'm loving this, dude.
I'm loving this, but I mean, yeah, I can definitely, I understand. I understand your emotions, AJ, and I think they are valid.
I don't know, but we're going to Western Air Temple here, and I don't know, Swagathon has the opportunity. He's just so flustered when he's in those moments. He doesn't know what to really do against Chakrams because they're so quick. You know, so we'll have to see what he does going into game number 3. He has the potential of making this go 2-1. But if Wubs keeps doing stuff like that. Oh, dude, he's just throwing light attacks out. He's missing. Oh my god.
I mean, hey, if Swagathon 5,138 isn't punishing them, then I mean, you don't gotta fix what ain't broken. Just keep throwing him out. I mean, he's finding the hits. It's whenever he's missing the hits that I'm gonna get really upset.
See, here's the thing. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. But this kind of shows you that you have to fix it a little bit. You just gotta mess with it a tad bit. Because how is he able to go around and be able to move around what Swagathon's recovery frames are and just go crazy with it? Because now we're seeing Wubs trying to find a way against it. That Silent Sider does come in clutch there from Swag. Wubs does touch barely. Picks up orb. We're gonna see a signature miss because of the dodge. Weapon throw, star. Oh, tries to get that gauntlet signature. Has too many recovery frames to punish Wubs. Okay, now we're seeing Wubs on sword. Side signature misses. Grab pound does land. Neutral does land as well. Wubs being a little bit more considerate now with the sword. And Swagathon's going to do that down signature. Missed that just barely, though. But you also have to consider Wubs has played Raidish so many times. Okay, weapon. There's no...
Tries to go for that signature. That would have been great. GCD like ground pound is going to get that knockout though.
Bro, the weapon throw and then the GC down like ground pound. He knew Wubs was like, uh-oh. He didn't know what to do in that moment. He's like, uh-oh, what recovery options do I have? And now you're seeing Wubs with Chakrams going to try KO, but he can't KO very well in Chakrams without it being fused. He could go for signatures like that will land, but the only other option he really has is the recovery with that 2-piece. But I don't think he knows about the 2-piece. He's just doing this.
Not, oh, not again! Not again!
It doesn't KO on yellow like that. He wasn't high enough for that. And now we're seeing Wubs like, uh-oh, what can I do here to get more damage to build? Let me spam dare. That's what he's doing. He's just spamming dare at the moment. We're seeing Swag trying to punish it, and Wubs is throwing it out because he can't punish it.
Yeah, I mean, it is just so incredibly difficult to punish.
God.
And Wubs is, let's just say, making use of the strengths of the weapon at this very moment, and Swagathon is on the receiving end.
We're top 3 through of a Brawlhalla Major. How is this working?
It's chakrams, baby. It's chakrams, and Wubs are making them work right now.
And Swagathon's look at him.
Like, no, he's done. He's done, dude. He's done.
He's tired of this.
The mental is broken. The mental is broken.
Yeah, all right. Swag, nice GC neutral signature. Does not KO though. He's gotta be careful. He does have Wubs with no weapon, so that will give Swagathon a little bit of an opportunity of KOing him. Weapon throw, GC. Oh. He's trying to mind gimp him, but he's not gonna be able to do that with Wubs not being on chakrams. Can't expect that. Oh, but GC signature does land, but does not KO. Picks up gauntlets. He hasn't. What is he throwing his weapon around for? There we go. Right, okay, he's just trying to. He's just trying to get into mental.
Yeah, he's in the lead. This could also be just like, dude. AJ, you saw him stop moving like that, and you already know that Swag is getting a little bit tilted. And what I'm really hoping is we're gonna watch Swag enter phase 2, wherever he starts just messing around a little bit. That would be incredible.
Oh, if Wubs allows him to, that's the real question. Because he's just spamming there, getting recoveries, and it's somehow working. What are you doing, Wubs? Why are you doing this man like this? His mental's already broken to a degree. Let him be able to go into game number 4. At least.
Nah, Wubs.
There we go.
Nah, Wubs is showing absolutely no mercy right now. Still, Swag able to set up an anti-air. Sticking to the orb here.
He's recovery too. He's gonna do the same thing that Wubs is doing, but with orb. No, I can't. All right, signature does come out. Wubs does get a punish there on the Swag. They're both off, or Swag's currently off the ledge, does get punished with that recovery. Needs to touch, does touch, but he needs to get that neutral control away. If he can get that away from Swubs, he goes ahead and gets this game. Gets that neutral air into GC neutral, misses that side air barely, does get that neutral control and that platform control to Wubs, and Wubs goes with that unarmed off-edge down signature and KO Swagathon 5138. And what an atrocity we just watched.
I loved it. I was a big fan. I was a big fan. That was great, AJ. Listen, dude. Listen. You gotta admire and you gotta respect the shamelessness. At a certain point, it just becomes impressive, AJ. He knew what he had to do. He knew what he had to do to win, and he did it, man.
4 light attacks, Wubs. What are you doing? You missed 75% of them. You missed like 75% of your signatures, and you had 11. Like, goodness gracious. What is going on? And you made Swagathon start missing a lot of light attacks. Dude, you can see his accuracy just drop significantly, bro.
That was one of the most sets of all time, AJ.
Dude,
and it happened right here on the side stream, and you were here to see it.
Polly, look at the light attack of 124. Look at the bar. It's already reaching out the Priya. It's touching the part of their headdress there. I've never seen that bar go that far out. Okay.
I gotta say, I'm calling out. I'm breaking the 4th wall right now. In the game chat, I didn't see the entire conversation. I just saw Swag said, "Well, chakrams," and Wubs said, "Yeah." I don't need to know what the conversation is. Both of them, there's a mutual understanding of exactly what just happened here.
That's literally the entire conversation they had, by the way. I'm looking at the chat.
They didn't say anything before that. He just said, "Well, the chakrams," after he lost.
And Wubs just said, "Yeah." That was it.
Yeah.
I want to screenshot
yeah.
the chat, and I want to put it next to lay attacks of accuracy 24% and 124 thrown out. That is absurd to me. There's no shame in Wubs right now. I mean, fair game is fair game, but my God, that's a way to show a weapon. But with that being said, though, I think we do have one more set coming up there, Polly. Let me see real quick here. We're going to be going into a good matchup. We have Future Bubble versus Hybrid, and hopefully we don't have that many light attacks thrown out from one weapon. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I mean, only time will tell. Now, of course, I'm going to give you time to talk about both of these players. Hybrid is a player that I'm very excited about seeing. I've been seeing Hybrid pop up here and there. I've been following them on Twitter, and I know that Hybrid has been one of the most hard-working players in the region right now. So I'm definitely looking forward to see their gameplay here on the stream. How are you feeling about Hybrid, AJ?
I think Hybrid's very known for being real. I think both these players are known for being really, really good in. Well, hold up. I think Hybrid's actually asking me for the room code, but both these players are really good. I mean, Hybrid is notorious for being really good in doubles. I know he's teamed with Fakey and a variety of doubles teammates. Future Bubble's really good at doubles too. He teams with Marckiemoo. They've gotten top 5 in a variety of different events together, including Max Mode as well. So they're really formidable doubles teammates, or double teammates for their teams. But for ones, usually I see Hybrid plays a little bit higher than from Bubble. But anything's up for grabs this moment. I know Hybrid and Bubble closely. It just comes down to seeing what will happen. I mean, Hybrid's PR 34, Bubble's PR 40. In Winter Championships, Hybrid got 13th. He got 13th in Snowfall as well, the Moose Wars event. So basing off those two placements, he has quote-unquote the advantage, but it's anyone's game. They both have 3 top 32s.
Another important thing to mention as well is that neither one of them they haven't faced each other ever, as far as I can tell. They don't have a match history, so we are really in the dark here in terms of how their matchup is going to look and who is going to statistically have the upper edge. We can throw the stats out the window because these guys are even.
Yeah, that's true, because I didn't even think about that. But I mean, if you're going off a recency, you would have to choose Hybrid, being like the big dog in this matchup. But I mean, they're really, really close in top 32s. You know, I think we did have Bubble get in Trial Lofty 17th, and Trial Scald he gets 17th as well. So they're both formidable players. I like both their styles. Hybrid will choose between Algrim. Oh, what is he doing? He's choosing something crazy that I didn't even expect from Hybrid. He's choosing the Wushang compared to his Orion and compared to his Algrim that are phenomenal. And we're seeing Bubble on his notorious Kaya.
Maybe feeling the gauntlets moving into this matchup. Time will tell what Hybrid is thinking with this pick. Future Bubble already starting off the game strong here. Hybrid is going to be able to pick up a spear of his own here.
Yeah, and right now we're just seeing a lot of back and forth between these players. Bubble, what are you doing to Hybrid? Hybrid's unable to come back. He almost zeroed death him already.
Almost clean stocked him. 25 seconds into the game. Future Bubble is looking super, super strong here.
He is indeed, and right now, I mean, we're just seeing more of a dominance coming in from Bubble. Nice neutral air coming in. Nice neutral air Cider. Misses the Cider, gets the down lane instead. Derek comes in, tries to get a neutral air again, but Bubble now going ahead, getting that Cider, trying to do some damage buildup, but Hybrid's starting to rebuttal quite quickly as we go forward. But also, Hybrid is playing against Bubbles, playing with and against Bubble's one of his main weapons, which is that spear. So when Bubble goes against Hybrid's spear, he has definitely a better read on it. But at the moment, Hybrid comes in with that silent neutral signature and makes it even.
Able to pick up that soft read with the neutral signature. Catching Future Bubble in his dodge there. Able to pick up a little bit of a string on the gauntlets too. Try to see if he can find a dodge read. just reacting and looking at his options whenever he hits him, dodging in and dodging out, looking for any kind of pattern. And he is really looking good in terms of the neutral game as well. He's winning a lot of these interactions. Future Bubble is going to have to try and step up here and try and grab some damage of his own. He's going to be disarmed, able to dodge that recovery though. Picks up a bow, but it's too late. That's going to be the knockout.
Yeah, and Bubble does go down into that final stock here too. Hybrid going back to old reliable gauntlets that he's known for doing somewhat decently with as well. And he knows that long-range field. He knows how to deal with them a little bit too. He's been facing him for years. So now when Bubble is going against him, he's going against this experience that Hybrid has against gauntlets as well. And right now, Future Bubble does get that weapon throw, tries to do a neutral there. Hybrid does rebuttal weapon throw. Does get two-piece. Bubble kind of guarding that weapon a little bit. Gets the sidelight, but Hybrid does pick up his second gauntlets as well. And actually swaps over the spear instead to do damage build-up.
Oh, he's just trying to weapon storm going. Yeah, Future Bubble still able to pick up that bow though. Gets the recovery on the way back. Can he catch the landing? He will be unable to. Future Bubble able to bait him out. Gets the D-light recovery. And will also have the weapon advantage here. It's going to be that spear. Finds the sidelight, gets the soft read. Gets the poke as well. Both of these guys are really even right now. We're just seeing a lot of trades back and forth here.
Yeah, right now we're kind of seeing Hybrid trying to approach the map control that Bubble has. And you're seeing Bubble really keep that with that spear. Hybrid trying to go back to spear, trying to be able to maximize with his own spear. So that dare does come out, sidelight into misses the downlight. Nice weapon throw from Bubble. Neutral comes from Hybrid but misses. Sidelight recovery from Bubble comes in clutch. A dare from Hybrid. And they're just exchanging. It's down to the final stocks and Bubble's signature lands but does not KO.
Enough.
Can Hybrid come back? He gets the spear recovery. Bubble doesn't have a weapon. He gets weapon start by Hybrid, but Hybrid needs to go for the KO now. He misses that recovery. He allows Bubble to get the bow, but a solid from Hybrid lands. Oh, but Bubble gets recovery. And Hybrid takes game number 1 of this best out of 5 set. Almost losing the Bubble because of not maximizing on his opportunities.
Super good final stock by Hybrid there. I can't lie, my jaw dropped a little bit whenever he made his way back onto the stage with an exhausted recovery, just so it would come out a little bit faster, catching Future Bubble off guard. I feel like that was the turning point, because with that he was able to take stage control back, and he was able to start setting up an anti-air, which eventually which lead to him getting the stage control, getting that recovery to get that knockout. Very well played by Hybrid. Just one very good decision made there.
Yeah, for sure. And right now we're going into game number 2 now, and we're still seeing Hybrid on that Wushang pick, which is still surprising me a little bit after that last game. Even though he won with it, it's still definitely an interesting pick. And it's starting to work pretty well with those gauntlets. The gauntlets are starting to catch Bubble off guard. I think that's what was working pretty well in the past. The spear was there, it was doing some stuff, but the gauntlets Hybrid knows so well. He just has to be careful because he can't knock out Bubble on that ceiling with that recovery because of the Steam and Island as easily.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for sure. And so potentially, another interesting thing is, for any other Gauntlet player, I would be like, oh, that's fine. Gauntlets, you know, just go offstage, make some offstage magic happen. But Hybrid seems to really prefer his on-stage battles, and so does Future Bubble. So it's going to have a hard time getting those knockouts off the ceiling for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And right now we're kind of seeing Hybrid try to do something against Bubble's spear a little bit, trying to get the KO, but Bubble's doing really well with the spear control and with the map control as well. But Hybrid gets right through with it. With the side air, he does get through that signature, and Hybrid does get that spear jump recovery and KO Bubble in that second. But, I mean, he's pretty low. I mean, Bubble can come back from this. He can go ahead and make it quite even pretty quickly. He's probably going to do that with that bow, more than likely, rather than the spear. So he has a couple different more KO options than the spear.
Throws out the down signature, looking for the knockout at this point. Not able to find the end sig either. Hybrid looking slippery and outspacing these options super well. He's not able to find any of that damage buildup though. The defense is there, but the offense, he's not quite able to find it.
Yeah, and Bubble's going to go and take advantage of that and get that two-piece two-piece combo. Going to lead to Bubble getting a downlight into recovery though. The second combo KOs, making things 2 stocks all. And you're seeing Bubble go back to that bow actually, not really going with that spear. I think he might get that next stock, but seeing what he can do with it.
Okay. Let's see what they're able to do here.
Bubble definitely has
Setting up.
potential, though.
Yeah, trying to set up an edge guard there, but Hybrid able to get back up. Tries to throw him off stage again with a Sair, but Hybrid doing a good job at not getting hit. Yet again, both of these players, super strong defense, but none of them really on top of the other in terms of offense. So we're just seeing just these very even trades over and over and over again. It's going to be down to the wire this time around too, I think, AJ.
Yeah, it's going to be down to wire for this game too. It comes down to what Bubbles is going to be able to do to go ahead and get this KO. If Hybrid's going to maximize with the spear first, does get that satellite. I do think Hybrid spear does well against Bubbles' bow, but now with Bubble being with no weapon, Hybrid has the weapon star, gets the GC down late. You can go with these gauntlets, but
Dude,
we'll see. I mean, there's just a lot of exchanges. Bubbles getting hit by weapon throw into a GC down light into recovery. I'm sorry, back dash down light into recovery to be exact. And gets Foresee Bubble has come back with unarmed, just sits there and side six Hybrid.
yet again, super even. Both of these guys are just neck and neck in terms of their neutral capabilities, and it's probably going to be more of the same here as both of them are trying to squeeze out any damage, find any mistake here in the neutral. Hybrid able to get back up onto the stage, gets that Nair too. Neutral bubble, not able to break the neutral bubble of Hybrid.
Yeah, he's not, and
There it is.
he does get that side air though. Now Bubble has the neutral control, gets that sidelight. Hybrid lands the weapon throw, gets the dare, is able to interrupt the neutral control of Bubble for a second, but picks up this gauntlets. Bubble takes back that control with that bow, gets that sidelight, misses the downlight option, gets that side air instead. Hybrid trying to find an option against Bubble, gets that sidelight, but doesn't get the KO option instead. Now off that ledge, the sider comes in. Bubble barely missing that dare. What can he do? What is he going to do? We get Hybrid now with Spear, trying to find a KO option. Downlight into recovery lands by Bubble, and Bubble makes us go into game number 3 as a one-on-one set. And that was incredibly close for this game number 2 there, Polly. My gosh.
I'm gonna have to look at these at this replay. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that weapon throw that Hybrid threw out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to see what happened there and review it.
Check that final replay, I think, is what it was going to be. The side signature comes in, and then slowly looking at this final replay, helicopter ground pound comes in, down late into recovery lands, but it's not the full thing. But their exchange for 30 seconds, Polly, was absurd.
Yeah, for sure. And Future Bubble still
here we
able
go.
to come out on top here, and only time will tell how the rest of the set will shake out. We're making sure that all of the external parameters are kept constant here, going back to the same stage, same legends for both of the players. Hybrid trying to pop off on this unarmed though.
Yeah, he's trying to do some arm gameplay, trying to mix a Bubble and kind of be able to pick those gauntlets up and be able to do the same thing with them. Gets that neutral air, definitely is trying to control a little bit of Bubble's neutral spacing. But now we're seeing Bubble trying to outspace Hybrid and trying to get these side airs here and there. Hybrid did a very good job of predicting them. You know, and at one point, Hybrid has faced thousands of opponents in ranked. He was one of the first people to get, one of the first people to get 1,000 ranked wins. You know, and he's been going crazy at it, and now he's just trying to do something against Bubble, trying to find that momentum, just a couple frames that he can maximize on to make it back into his favor, and it's a little bit in his favor now. Bubble is now using that spear, trying to show Hybrid, hey, why are you playing my own weapon, and how are you beating me? Because now we're seeing Hybrid get that downlight side air, and Bubble's down to his second stop.
Sticking to the gauntlets here, gonna see if he can extend this lead as well. Future Bubble is gonna have to try and look for this knockout on the bow. Able to connect that Sair to push him off stage. Hybrid is gonna be able to make it back quite quickly though, as we're going back to some footsies.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth. These players are known for their movement and being able to adapt. Hybrid does get that 3-piece combo. Does get really risky there, and Bubble doesn't take advantage of it. He throws that signature the wrong way, allowing for Hybrid to pick up that spear, get that side air on him. But Bubble does get that downline recovery, but he keeps on going back to Demon Island, and it's not going to KO on the map as easily.
Yeah, and this is a strong lead at this point for Hybrid. I want to say maybe the strongest lead that we have had all set for anyone. Future is able to shut that stock down though, and is gonna stick to the bow here to see if he can even out the damage. But Hybrid, if he's able to run off with this lead, this could be him moving into the 4th game with a very important advantage.
Yeah, his dodge dancing and his dash dancing is phenomenal at the moment. You're seeing Bubble having a rough time really adjusting to that. And as soon as he's done adjusting to it, he's been able to smack him. But the problem is Hybrid hasn't been able to find anything just yet. He's able to touch that. That weapon throw does land. Picks up Gauntlets, tries to do a jump sider, misses that. Bubble misses the lands the neutral. He lands it again. He's going to go for a KO option probably. But Hybrid says otherwise, gets 1 recovery. Look how close this is of a KO, and Hybrid just can't KO him.
Future Bubble has done an amazing job at turning the damage around too and evening it out. Hybrid struggling to find this knockout. Just as you mentioned, he's going to pick up the spear, so he's going to have Sair and recovery to do it. The recovery is going to connect, and that's going to be Future Bubble on their final stock.
Yeah, for sure. And with Bubble being down into that final stock, that's a huge thing for Hybrid to take advantage of. But if you're Bubble, you're like, hey, I need to get this KO very quickly. Can do it. He was trying to land a down light at a proper time, but missed it. Tried to do that signature to be a little bit more risky, but does get punished. But neutral light does land, but does not KO because his ceiling is so high. Oh, and you're seeing Bubble trying to get that down light neutral light, and that will go ahead and KO and make things 1 stock all.
Sticking to the bow here. He's gonna have to try and even out the damage. He had that weapon advantage, but he's not able to get a weapon starve going. Gets a little bit of a juggle going though. Grab some extra damage here onto Hybrid. Finds that side light, not able to make anything happen with a read though.
Now you're seeing Hybrid trying to take this neutral control away from Bubble. Gets that 3-piece combo. He's kind of being a little bit floaty now, which allows for Bubble to go ahead and take that control away from him. Does get that weapon throw neutral air. Bubble might be able to get some damage built. Now he has a neutral. Hybrid tries to interrupt it with a weapon throw and some unarmed gameplay. GC downlight into recovery. Hybrid now it's what beats Bubble now with some unarmed gameplay. And Hybrid with the GC downlight into recovery, KOing Bubble and taking game number 3 with stride.
There it is. And man, you mentioned it in that game. I feel like both of them, like, I want to say that Demon Island is not good for Future Bubble. As you said so many times, he would have had knockouts earlier if it weren't for Demon Island. But at the same time, like, Hybrid can't use Gauntlet Recovery to get knockouts to the same extent either. So it's like both of them are disadvantaged so hard by the map. So maybe it's even playing field.
I think that's what both of them are taking it, because we didn't see Bubble strike out any of the maps, and Hybrid had a choice between 3 and went to Demon Island again. So we'll see what happens going into, game number 4.
3, 2.
I mean, Bubble definitely has opportunities, but I think he just has to make sure he has that map in neutral. That's a big thing. And I think Hybrid's trying to take that, but also Hybrid's being a little bit overly aggressive in different instances, and you're seeing Bubble punish him for it.
Yeah, and another thing that Future Bubble is doing incredibly well throughout this entire set is making sure that their escape options are super randomized and really difficult to read, because Hybrid is really grilling on those, constantly looking for any kind of follow-up and any kind of dodge read, and Future Bubble is just making that basically impossible for him.
Yeah, and we're seeing now Bubble take this neutral control from Hybrid, but Hybrid comes with a double neutral air into a triple neutral air, misses that weapon throw, misses the down light, and Bubble's able to come back. But Hybrid's going in for some of these risky KOs, but not getting the proper follow-ups right after, because I don't think he's expecting them to land, and Bubble's able to come back and get that signature KO on him.
That will connect, and actually sticking to the spear now. So for a lot of last game, Future Bubble was sticking to the bow whenever he had the opportunity, potentially favoring the spear a little bit more in this game, trying to shake it up a little bit and make Hybrid adapt a little bit all over again here. Let's see if he's able to make something happen with it. He's gonna throw it away actually, and opt to go for probably the bow.
Yeah, he's gonna try to get
start going.
Maybe for damage build up and the spear for KOs. Well, now he's just throwing his weapons around like crazy. I don't know if he's just... I think he's comfortable in both. He's willing to throw the weapons away and even go back to weapon spawn. But Hybrid does get that spear recovery on the Bubble. Hybrid was doing really well at putting a lot of pressure on the Bubble off that ledge. You can see him dash dancing the way he is now. Like, he's feeling the pressure quite a bit.
Oh, side light, wrong direction. Future Bubble not able to find that neutral signature to get that punish though.
Nice
Oh, he goes for the double, able to connect it too. I didn't see when he used the dodge, but Hybrid obviously very, very aware of which options Future Bubble has.
Yeah, and right now we're seeing Hybrid kind of trying to go around different things. Does pick up Spear again, though, maybe thinking he was going to get Gauntlets, but Bubble gets that 2-piece, knowing what movement options Hybrid has. Oh, but doesn't punish the Sweat Beads. And now you're seeing Hybrid with that neutral control with Spear. You're going to see Bubble try to challenge it with the bow, but Hybrid's signature lands the second time. And that recovery lands, but doesn't KO. Hybrid needs to go and get the second recovery, but misses that. And now we're seeing a situation where Bubble has the neutral control over Hybrid, picks up bow, tries to get a KO, but Hybrid gets the side air instead.
Goes for the ground pound. Not going to be enough for the knockout. He's going to have to go for the dare. He's able to time it correctly and line it up. That's going to be Future Bubble now down on their last stock, and Hybrid has the victory in his sights here. It's within reach, AJ.
Is definitely within reach. And now if you're Hybrid, you're like, hey, I need to take this lead as long as I possibly can, do more damage build up. But if you're Future Bubble, your goal is to take advantage of Bubble's spear, or of his own spear there, and try to out-counter Hybrid. But Hybrid's starting to do the total opposite and counter Bubble. So you're going to see him play a little bit, but he might get this KO option more than likely. We'll definitely have to see what Hybrid's Gauntlets do. Oh, the neutral light comes in from Bubble. He's going to try and knock out with neutral light again, I think, and it might lead to that 2-stack from Hybrid. Yeah, he keeps doing the neutral light instead of the 2-piece combo.
Side light comes out, trying to look for the read, not able to find it though. Will get punished off of a gravity cancel though, as Future Bubble takes him down to his last stock. It's still possible for Future Bubble to take this back, but it's looking like it's Hybrid's game to win here, AJ.
It is, and I think Bubble has an opportunity, but these neutral lights just keep on coming out that way, and they're not going to land it right every single time. And he does not have damage to really spend or to give Hybrid to take advantage of, to be able to go into a follow-up string. He's got to be very careful. He does get that side air, because he's probably going to go ahead and get the GC side light. Nice job, but Hybrid side light, down light, side air is true, and that KO's Bubble, and Hybrid wins 3-1 over Future Bubble to advance further into this bracket, while maximizing on that Ang Wu Shang to go and take that win.
Very, very even set all throughout though. Future Bubble putting up some amazing resistance here in the bracket, but it is yet again going to be Hybrid advancing throughout the bracket further here. Very, very well-deserved victory.
Yeah, without a doubt, and I think a lot of these, I think this was a really, really good match to kind of see, and you know, I think Bubble definitely has a lot of potential. He just had a rough time being able to deal with the different approaches Hybrid was doing against him. He wasn't able to hold that neutral as well. But we did see that, you know, that spear be used a little bit. The bow was kind of coming in there, but nothing was really sticking out to beat Hybrid outside of maybe a little bit of bow in here and there. We'll see the damage graph here in a second to kind of determine that. But looking at the stats there, I mean, accuracy, 73 light attacks coming in from Bubble, 37% accurate. That's a big deal. I think Hybrid might have been maximizing on that quite a bit.
For sure, and Hybrid was just getting a little bit more damage per encounter, and definitely toward the final stocks there in that game, he was able to just win a lot more of the neutral encounters than Future Bubble. Also, throughout the entire set, I feel like in the very beginning we were seeing potentially a little bit more gauntlet action coming out from Hybrid, but opting to lean more heavily into the spear as the set progressed also proved to be successful.
Yeah, and I think when it's spear v spear, I think actually Bubble tends to win a little bit of that. But when Bubble was going over to the bow, I think Hybrid Spear was doing really, really well. So I think no matter what, I mean, Hybrid did 422 damage with Spear. He really stuck with that weapon compared to going to the second and third stocks. But with Bubble, I mean, he was just trying to go with that bow. He was bringing out Spear to kind of mix things up a little bit here and there, but just had a really rough time with it. So he had one weapon, but didn't have a second to kind of mix up his opponent, and Bubble took full advantage of that and found a way into Bubble's neutral control. So good job by Hybrid. Good job by Future Bubble there. We appreciate you guys both playing here. And with that being said, though, Polly, that is it for us casting some of these sets on the side stream there. Is there anything that you want to say before we go ahead and head on out?
It's been an amazing weekend. I hope that the competitors and the viewers have enjoyed our casting and our coverage of the games. There's going to be more coverage, of course, coming right on up. It is going to be. I'm gonna have to go on ahead and double check very quickly. It's gonna be the casters that will be taking over. It's gonna be Dara and Sparky. So make sure you show them lots of love. Me and AJ. Sorry, no. Not AJ. I don't know about you. I'm going to be back on the. I'm going to be back casting the double side, and of course, we're going to have both main and side stream action for the Spring Championship 2v2 next weekend. Make sure you don't miss that.
Yeah. So with that being said, we'll be right back with some amazing North American gameplay. I'll be watching. You guys will be watching, and let's go and watch some amazing Brawlhalla sets. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody, to the MoneyHalla North American Spring Singles Championships. We're over here on the side stream on twitch.tv/ProBrawlHalla. I'm joined by my lovely, incredibly, I was going to say incredible co-caster, and then I said incredibly, and I couldn't think of an adjective in time. Incredible co-caster, Sparky. Sparky, how are you feeling today? Are you excited to get into some of the matches that we have?
I'm excited for MoneyHalla, but a little bit disappointed that you couldn't come up with an adjective like for your friend that's like.
Well, I was gonna say like incredibly like handsome, but I didn't
cherish
want to
my friends.
at the moment,
funny, lovable, nice. Like there's a lot. There's a lot of different things that I'd be able to come up with for my friends, but apparently all of those words escaped your mind in the moment. But that's because we're so excited to be here for the Spring Championship 2025. We're ending the 1v1 weekend here with North America. The bracket has been moving and cruising on. This is going to be the final block for the day of the side stream here at twitch.tv/ProBrawlHalla. But of course, things will continue as the tournament finishes up on the main stream over at twitch.tv/ProBrawlHalla. And we're moving on into this one. Players are ready to go. We got MoneyHalla versus Hybrid here. And we're going to be getting into it as the stage banning comes through. We have flat maps here on the board. Demon Island, Small Worlds in, and then Small Fortress Blinds, but we're going to Demon Island.
Mm-hmm. So we have Hybrid on the Ang representing the Wushang. We're going to be seeing MoneyHalla on the Imugi. Okay, so let's see. Right now I feel like whenever we see a great sword on the screen, we always have to talk about how are we going to do post nerfs. What's going to happen here? We're going to see how MoneyHalla is going to be able to control space. And I feel like whenever MoneyHalla is on the screen, he is defined by whether or not he's able to get his strings, he's able to get his dodge reads, and he's able to get his combos. Because when he does, his damage output is absolutely ridiculous. Also, man, that new greatsword skin goes crazy.
Yeah, you bring the great lightsaber into the fold here, and it definitely doesn't look strange at all compared to like the other regular lightsabers that are in the game. I like it a lot. I think it has its own aura, despite being like typically thinner than like the giant greatswords that we normally see. Especially Popsicle is gigantic. Almost catches with the recovery on the turnaround. Isn't able to punish the landing before Hybrid touches the ground after being in sweat beads. The backside of that axe recovery does make a hit. We see sweat beads.
Oh.
He went down for the recovery. I was seeing in my mind's eye that we were going to get a GCD light into the ground pound. I don't think he was very comfortable on where Hybrid was going to be. There's one that we see for
He's got
Hybrid.
it down as well. MoneyHalla going to go all the way up and around and is going to be able to make it back on. Okay, Hybrid, GCD light recovery, nicely done. Just making sure that MoneyHalla is deprived of a weapon. He's hungry. He's picking up the axe, and if it's MoneyHalla, he gets an end light. He always does so well with the axe, and then he throws it away. Like, there you go. He connected two end lights. That end light at the ledge is so powerful, so disjointed. More than enough to be able to get the stock off. And then just opting for the greatsword.
Yeah, I think that's he seems to have not made more of a transition over onto the axe after the greatsword nerfs came through. Like, obviously he had his like major doomer tweet about like, oh no, what am I gonna do now after the nerfs came through, and we thought that like, okay, he's gonna lean on the axe a little bit more, and I think he is somewhat leaning on the axe a little bit more, but it's still like, I'm going to use one individual move at a time that happens to be good for this opportunity, rather than like finding what opportunities I would if I was an axe player, right? Like he's still not an axe player. He's a greatsword player who like also has an axe as his secondary weapon, but it is definitely a very secondary weapon. And of course, Imugi still has all of the great signatures that MoneyHalla used a long time ago and has been using throughout his career. This D-light into the side air. Oh, the dodge back to the stage, and there's the side air from Hybrid. We're sort of back to resetting neutral.
MoneyHalla dashing in, dashing out, just waiting for Hybrid to give that opening. Hybrid overshooting with the side light down bridge. Okay, MoneyHalla's greatsword, his precious greatsword, gets knocked away. He is once again left weaponless. Hybrid goes through the weapon toss. GC side light not going to find its connection. MoneyHalla able to get the double weapon spawn, so he's able to get his preferred weapon once again.
Ooh, he gets the neutral and actually
punish.
dodges back onto the stage. Still holding his corner, gets the down air and the stock. He is still very much in the red, but one thing that Polly and AJ were talking about earlier is, like, specifically with this stage and a Gauntlet player, I believe it was Hybrid playing at the time, but I can't remember. It was a Gauntlet player regardless. It's like, okay, well, you don't really have the Gauntlet recovery as an option to KO off the top. Like, obviously, it will, but you don't want to be relying on that.
Especially against Imugi. Yeah,
exactly.
It'll take a while.
But you're still Wushang, so you have the signature kit in your hand. And that's sort of the thing, like, with MoneyHalla on Imugi after the greatsword nerfs. You still have an amazing signature kit that MoneyHalla uses all the time. There's the side air from Hybrid. That's going to even up the stocks here, but there's quite a bit of damage left here. Yeah.
Yeah, he tried to get like that instant landing back onto the stage. That was a little bit dangerous. MoneyHalla now is being patient, picking up his greatsword once again. The question is, how is he going to be able to close out the stock? He's not in down recovery range, not yet, I believe. He's going for the side sig finisher, and that was so good. Let me tell you why that was good. I believe that was his one and only signature that he threw out for that entire... Oh, it was not?
He threw another side sig out. I can't remember if he threw out more than that, but he did throw out side sig, and it also hit, I believe. I can't remember if it, we can look at the... Yes. So he threw out 2.
It did hit.
One of which was that one, and then the previous side sig that we saw. Both of them hit. He had 100% signature accuracy, but still it was rare. It was absolutely rare.
Which is good. This is actually a good sign for MoneyHalla, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why. I have seen a lot of MoneyHalla sets. I quite frankly think that he is maybe a few months to a year away from being a top 3 in NA, and that's a very bold opinion. The thing that holds him back is I have seen him lose countless sets due to, you know, throwing out a lot of really unsafe signatures, them not connecting, him getting punished for it, and then him not being able to actually find his KOs. That side sig was really good simply because he didn't use it that much. Hybrid was not ready for it. Hybrid wasn't expecting it when he ended up dodging out. And so MoneyHalla, he got it, he got that stock. His strings are on point today. He's getting his KOs. He's not, you know, being too reckless with the signatures. That's the MoneyHalla I want to see.
I'm going to disagree with you on that and think that MoneyHalla and say that MoneyHalla is not going to be a top 3 in North America. I definitely don't think it's going to happen this year with the likes of like Marckiemoo and Balloon Boy, potential for Sandstorm to be in there, Flower to be in there. He's like right now MoneyHalla is sitting at number 9. And even though he gets the stock off of Hybrid here very early into this game without taking a lot of damage, it was less than a 40-second stock. I think there's just like a lot of really solid talent in North America. It may not be like grand finals level talent if we're comparing it to like the top players of South America, if we're looking at like Hughes and Kaina and like Godly, if we're looking at Europe. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's going to be really tough when we break into that top 3. That's exactly
my call out right now. Oh my gosh, he's able to get 5 consecutive hits. The weapon toss out there as well. MoneyHalla just opting to play it safe, dodging past the neutral, making it back on. Look at this stock lead that he has against Hybrid at the moment. Sidelight, he goes for the reverse end light, not going to be able to connect it. Hybrid needs to get something going now. Neutral, he's not able to catch the dodge. Normally you'd cover that with like an end light, but he just went up high.
Ooh, rip that D-Sig a little bit too early while Hybrid was far enough away from him. That meant that Hybrid had the time to not only get in, but also throw out the move that he needed to while the signature still had MoneyHalla in with lag.
He was allowed to use a stock up, and the N-Sig calling him out. That was amazing. Hybrid was just not ready for it. MoneyHalla, I mean, what a way to call out somebody getting off of the platform. You know, that was bold.
Yeah, he saw the weapon spawn coming in, and you saw that Hybrid was approaching it from the air. If you go with like an axe recovery to catch him in the air there, like, you might have to like move back a little bit since it moves you at that 45-degree angle. The rare Wushang down sig coming out, and one of the reasons we see it so very rarely is because it doesn't hit very often. And MoneyHalla has weapon advantage, did the great string on Greatsword, now is pushing the axe damage as well.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Hybrid with the best possible punish. Held onto that side sig. Just the very edge of that weapon toss. Hybrid. Okay.
Right.
I don't know what that was. Yeah.
All right, man.
Okay. MoneyHalla able to get the neutral anti-air. How is he going to get this landing? How is he going to get the stock? Okay. Guys. I don't like this. This is what I'm talking about. You see that?
I understand.
It doesn't connect.
I understand what Hybrid was going for in that moment. He's like, I need to get a big punish. I'm a full stock behind. I'm very much in red on final stock. The signature punish here would be like a game-changing move in that moment, so he had to jump over, he had to get around and behind MoneyHalla before he could charge up the signature, which has that minimum charge time more than like a light attack would, but you're risking more, you're also being rewarded more if it hits. Unfortunately, the timing just wasn't there and he wasn't able to do it in time. Ended up losing the stock, a 2-stock for MoneyHalla, and he seems basically unstoppable if you're coming from the POV of Hybrid right now.
That was so funny. I don't think Hybrid had his dodge. He used his dodge immediately. So using up your dodge immediately as like a recovery tool is like kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Because of course, like you want to use up the tool that has a refresh as soon as possible. You want to dodge in immediately so that you can get it back. But then in that case, you have to get back onto stage without a dodge. Normally the dodge is the most important way that you avoid a weapon toss. And then MoneyHalla was able to get the double weapon toss. So that was a really good recognition on his end, by the way. He saw the burnt dodge. He saw Hybrid's Hybrid's angle, and he was like, you're not gonna fast fall here. If you jump, you're gonna get hit by this anyways. And then he was able to get the edge guard onto Hybrid nonetheless. So, he's up 2 games. I feel like Hybrid does not have a lot of momentum right now in the set.
Yeah, definitely not after last game. If he did have any in his favor at one point, it seemingly was completely evaporated by the time the last game was over. The 2-stock was devastating. That's like a huge statement piece. MoneyHalla seemed to have complete control over it, even though he like whiffed a couple critical signatures there. Like, it didn't seem to matter in the long run. Nice downer to get the landing, and they basically swapped stage control.
Okay, eating the downer, nice way to be able to punish that Endlight Hybrid. How are you going to find some of these openings? Landing with the Sailor, very nicely done. D-Light not going to be able to connect with the GC. D-Light recovery will MoneyHalla at a deficit for the first time. Hybrid at a lead for the first time, and he's playing quite well.
I actually really love what he just did. The D-Light, I don't know if he meant that to be a bait. He could have absolutely meant it to be a bait in that moment, so that MoneyHalla would come over in the attempt to either just recover or punish. Okay. The axe recovery is going to get the KO there. Man, axe recovery right over the corner is so frustrating when you're not the axe player.
Spiky, it's so funny. Every single time MoneyHalla has axe, I see him connect everything he's looking for. Like, his hit accuracy with is amazing, and then he always throws it away for the great sword anyways. And he prefers the great sword. That's what he plays. That's what he does.
Imagine, like, he's secretly low-key the world's best axe player of all time, but because he just doesn't like it.
He chooses not to be. He just doesn't like it, yeah.
Yeah, he's just like a top 8 player in North America because of that. It's like some weird cursed monkey's paw type beat.
Yeah, you don't choose the thing that you succeeded. You succeeded, but at what cost? At being an axe player, much to Sparky's dismay, because I'm a Blastoise player, I hate axe. Anyways, MoneyHalla, how do you get back on here? Okay, Hybrid's still gonna be able to punish, holding onto the ground pound. The back hit of the recovery is still gonna be able to hit him. Hybrid able to punish. There's so many recoveries flying. Everybody's pressing all their heavy attacks right now.
He's gonna do it again. I thought he was just gonna do the exact same thing, dip off the stage and do the recovery back towards it. Oh, almost got the hit off of that when Hybrid dipped down a little bit too low in terms of safety. Hybrid's still holding on to this tiny little lead that he has. If MoneyHalla can grab a weapon. Oh, all right. He's just going to catch him jumping with a dash jump recovery. Here's a 2-piece, 3-piece from Hybrid. He's not able to find the side air. Now he's stuck over on the wall. What has MoneyHalla got here? Okay, a classic. Basically doing exactly what he does with the axe. He dips off the stage, turns around, does the recovery back towards the stage. Doesn't matter if he has axe, doesn't matter if he has greatsword. He does the same thing, and then after that, he finds the KO.
He repositions without having to commit too much. So now the game is just about even. Hybrid needs to get a game to be able to put himself onto the map here. MoneyHalla dashing out. Hybrid finding a side light. Okay, side light and light down. That is so much damage being dealt onto Hybrid here. Oh, tries to go for the pivot.
He got the dodge after that, but somehow Hybrid was able to get away from it.
The dodge
there's the 3-piece, and that's the stock. Yep. He got it there.
Wow. So that is going to be a confident 3-0, a dominant 3-0. Oh, was that a thumbs down? That was a thumbs down. That's pretty good.
Was a thumbs down in the post-game log. All right, Sandwick, why am I so red? What are we doing here? Look, I'm gonna move my head up.
Sparky, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's your lighting, man. That's your lighting, buddy.
It's not. I can see my camera. I'm looking at my camera. I can see the window. If you look, I'm as red as Dara's writing on the shirt. Like, what are we doing? I'm not that red. I can see my camera right now. Like, I'm looking at me in my camera. This is crazy. I can also see myself in the top corner of KamaalKun.studio.
Issue? I think this is actually maybe a difference on your monitor. It might be a monitor thing that you have going on, man.
No, because I'm looking at my camera on my camera in the little LCD screen on the camera, and then I'm looking at it on the KamaalKun.studio, and they look identical. This is crazy. I'm being gaslit by 2 different people here.
Is this a skill issue? Is this
I'm not red.
Skill issue.
I'm tan. I go outside.
Press 1. I don't go outside. I haven't done that in a while.
I know. I saw y'all at max mode.
For Sparky. Yeah. Oh, I know. It's great. You know how I'm often called my friends? My friends, they call me like a dog that like rich ladies carry in their purse because I just don't go outside and I'm in my comfortable environment all the time. Anyways, okay. So good job to MoneyHalla. Good job to MoneyHalla. Enough about us. Good job to MoneyHalla. He was really good in that set. Hybrid started it off with a lead in that last game. Honestly, MoneyHalla is doing what he needs to do. You know what that is? He's getting those dodge reads. When he gets those dodge reads with Greatsword, you already know the kind of damage output that he is capable of, especially on Imugi. That is one of the biggest challenges for Greatsword, right? Is that you need a good understanding, unless the opponent is, you know, throwing the controller on against the wall. You need a good understanding of some of the dodges. You need to be able to mix up your options. You have to be ready to react. You have to be on top of it, and so he did exactly that. And in the game too, he got punished for like 2 of his whiff signatures. I bring it up with MoneyHalla so often because I have seen him lose sets because of it. And then he was just much more reserved in the game too. He didn't get punished as much. And in game 1, his signatures were very successful. Again, I'm telling you, the day where MoneyHalla gets his dodge reads and he is able to, you know, connect the signatures, you know, just hit it. You know, it's not that simple, but he doesn't whiff it as much. Those are the sets that he wins every single time, guaranteed. Every single time. That is why I am so confident in him. That is why when I see him, I'm thinking, this is so close to being a top 3 NA player. Like, he is getting there. I see it. I see it all falling into place.
What was your timeline for that? I forgot.
I think probably within a year. Within a year is what
within the year or within 365 days.
Within 365 days.
Okay, you want to make a bet? Shake.
Shake. That's right. We're only betting channel points. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right. Okay, great. We made a shake on it. We bet. Okay, is that us shaking?
Yeah.
I
mean, we have to shake. Otherwise, you're gonna scam me and be like, "Oh, we didn't shake." That's not how you shake someone's hand.
That's how it works. Okay,
you don't shake someone's hand open fingered like this. It's right here.
Okay.
It's just right here.
I don't.
Let me tell you, you're never going to get a job in this job market unless you have a strong handshake. That's how it's done these days.
I'm a contractor here. I'm a cooking teacher. I have jobs, multiple.
Not after they see that handshake.
Like
I think it's over.
2.5 to 3.
It's over for you. It's over for you.
Well, how am I supposed to simulate a handshake without having a hand to actually shake, man? Okay, enough, Spiky.
It's Sunday fun day.
Do you know how good my grip strength is? Do you know how strong my hands are? I cook. I'm a cooking teacher. I cook. I run a cooking show. I cook all the time. I have excellent hand strength. I give excellent handshakes, and sometimes I give very like limp ones like these, very like, you know, like ladylike ones, I suppose, whenever I want to do something courteous. But I give very good handshakes. Anybody that knows me knows that I give excellent handshakes. Anybody that knows me. Okay. So,
I don't know. I feel like you've tried to like dap me up a couple times, and
I had to teach you how to do it because your elbow was in the wrong position.
No, because you did it wrong. Like you just did it wrong. Like you came in for an unpopular dap up. You tried to get custy with it, and you shouldn't get custy with it.
What does custy mean? What is custy?
Custom.
Mean?
Sorry, I got a little custy with it.
Is that short for custom? Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's short for custom.
No, I dap people up the way that I did my entire life growing up. Okay, and I do a very good job of it. I've thought about the mechanics. I've thought about how gently you need to cup your hands for the right amount of surface tension. Okay, I've thought about how the sound needs to resonate properly and all the motions and the mechanics that go into it. Okay, and I help people out with that. Sparky, I do. I am very good at this. I'm very good at those kinds of handshakes and then ordinary handshakes as well.
No, see, that's where you're making a mistake, and it's not based on like science, right? It's not science. You don't go in as an experiment.
This is
right?
anti-intellectualism.
It's just like vibes based. Like you gotta feel the energy and the frequency of the universe, and then you respond with that energy back, and the frequencies intertwine, and then you become one with the other person and the Earth and Gaia, and especially on Mother's Day, Mother Earth. You know.
Sparky, here's the difference between us. This is coming from a genuine place for me. You have no horse in this race. I take handshakes very seriously. You're just trying to be contrarian. You're just trying to get me upset. Aren't you? And it worked. And it did work a little bit. It did work a little bit, didn't it? Okay. Well, we're gonna shake hands on stream next time that we're in person. Is that gonna be CEO? That's gonna be in CEO. Great. We're going to do that on stream. Is next week. Oh, you're going to be around for doubles? Okay, great.
Yes.
Wonderful. We will tell our lovely producers to go ahead and put that live on air for everybody else to see. And then for the 100 or so people, aside from the 100 people that knew the context of this, you know, they're going to be like, what is going on? Why are we doing this? So that's what's going to happen. We'll hold toast to it.
Alrighty, we're going to be heading into a short break right after that little discussion we had, and we will be right back with some more gameplay here in just a moment. Thank y'all for sticking with us, and we'll see you soon.
Heart is beating double time. I can't wait to make you mine. I just wanna know ya. I tremble when you call my name. The feeling driving me insane. I just can't get you off my brain. You play me like a melody, the sweetest sound in symphony is slowly taking over me. I feel the bassline dripping down my spine. I feel it getting closer. Don't want this to be over. And when the beat drops and my body rocks, I feel it getting closer. Whoa. I'm reading every sign. I'm losing track of time. I feel it getting closer. Don't want this to be over. And when the beat drops and my body rocks, I feel it getting closer. Whoa.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We have the players in the lobby now. The reason we had to throw to that break earlier is because somebody, I won't say who, it was Snowy, queued a ranked game. That means he's focused on staying warm as best as he can for his next opponent, Raidish, who he's going to be facing for the lower side of top 16.
Okay, so this is going to be a titan for Raidish to conquer right now, specifically the Priya. I have not actually seen how Raidish was doing today. I was a little bit preoccupied, didn't get the best chance to catch up on some matches. But it's going to be a little bit difficult. Now, the thing that we have seen yesterday in EU, at least for me, was that Amit on the Orb was actually kind of cooking, specifically against the Chakram. Orb, from what I have seen, from the way that he has played it, from how slowly that game went, I got to see how Orb was able to consistently deny that weapon from doing what it does. You play back, you play slow, you threaten with sidelight, you threaten with sider, you go for a lot of jump neutralers because of how just disjointed and big neutraler is. Those are going to be some really big options for Raidish going into this matchup. Now, Boots, on the other hand, is going to be a lot more of a challenge. Boots stays stacked on top of the opponent unless you're really landing with a downer. Priya's never really going to be in a position where you land against her because I feel like Priya never wants to be in the ground like that. Does Raidish have it? He got, last time I got his team at max mode, he had a tough time going up against Chakram. But does he have it this time?
I don't know. And you mentioned the boots, and that's a big question mark for me here because I was watching some Balloon Boy games earlier. It's a nice side air. I was watching some Balloon Boy games earlier, and none of them were against Priya. So I didn't get to see how his boots were doing against Priya. But we were talking about yesterday, I can't remember who the orb player was. It wasn't Ahmed, it was someone else, I think, who like wasn't able to catch landings very well with the side air. And we talked about how Raidish is able to do that against so many different players and how that's an effective tool for him. We've already seen that happen so far here. So I think that is going to be a massive difference from some of the orbs that we saw yesterday. Is Raidish's pure raw talent and ability to be able to catch those landings with a side air because he's been doing it for his entire orb career.
That's right. So at the moment, Snowy, once again, just going to be opting for the Chakrams. Not going to be able to get the immediate neutral recovery, so Raidish dodged out. He dodged out again. Snowy, the latest recovery a little bit too long. Raidish tried to land with a downer. Snowy able to get a slight punish for it. Extending in with the D-Light. Raidish is the one that's kind of initiating a lot here. The downer ended up whiffing. Okay. Again, I feel like none of these downers are actually going to end up connecting. I can't imagine Snowy's going to be on the ground long enough. Or diagonally below Raidish. It's going to be usually, Snowy on top landing against Raidish.
Ooh, the juggling is still going. Raidish had a massive lead. Like, Snowy's taken a non-negligible amount of damage on this second stock so far, but he's definitely bringing it back. Oh, that D-Light, I thought he was really going to get punished for that after getting hopped up into the air that Raidish did. Oh, just going to rip a side sig like that, hoping to find the KO since they were close to the right side blast zone. The backside of that made contact?
Yeah, right now, we're not seeing any huge Priya streams. Going through the weapon toss all the way out there. Snowy now opting for the sword, hopefully for the consistent KO offstage. It's probably going to be a D-Light, or perhaps even just a raw recovery. A little bit too late, though. Raidish makes it back on for a second. The side air swats him away. Tries to go through the GC side sig, which was a very creative tool, but Snowy was ready for it. Of course, no hitbox on top. Gets nice and punished with the swing down.
Ooh, he did throw his weapon up, and he ended up having to grab it because the weapon spawn came in that he knew Raidish could get to in time, and Snowy didn't want to be disarmed. But there was the instant GC side sig that came out from Snowy as well that made contact. Now we're seeing the boots go to work here. Oh, I was wondering if he was going to be able to get far enough away from Snowy when he was throwing that out. Yeah, that's 2 times that he's now been punished for it in different ways as well.
Oh,
nice.
But the third one is going to be the charm, exactly what he needs. The side sig that time around is what he opts for. Again, really similar side sigs here, right? From Snowy and Raidish. They just cover a lot of horizontal space, not a whole lot of vertical space, but it's just about quickly calling out somebody who has no stage control when you feel like they're not going to dodge out. So now Raidish, once again, he has continued this lead for himself. He's established the lethality. Let's see what he's able to make happen, and let's see if Snowy's able to get some of these big Priya combos. That's it.
Yeah, you see Raidish using his recovery to try and get as far left as he can, so that Snowy has to drift after him, potentially using resources that he wouldn't have when he actually gets in range of being able to hit Raidish. So it's a smart idea. You see him again recovering to the right, using that as much of a movement tool as he is in attack.
Landing with the downer, Raidish backing up a little bit here. Okay, goes all the way through the D-Sig, but you know what?
Oh,
still able to pop out an N-Light. Snowy going all the way out there.
Ooh, the top side grabbing that. Snowy's been using that signature, at least so far in this set, more than basically anybody else this entire weekend. I would say the most popular has probably been the D-Sig, but we've also seen quite a few N-Sigs as well on the Chakra.
I feel like it's a nice, healthy mix of both. N-Sig is like, okay, this is a big call-out option. Side Sig is like, every time I've seen Side Sig, though, I feel like I've seen it connect, or at least go unpunished this weekend so far. It's quick, it has a lot of coverage. It just catches a lot of people off guard,
nice.
Right? Wow, that's it?
Yep. Great pickup there from Raidish.
Okay.
Of course, he had the boots. All he needed was that N-Light over right there on the edge. He knew he could throw out one move, and it would be safe right on that corner because he's so close to the blast zone, and he's going to take that game. He just had, like, the lead on Snowy so much throughout the entire game. See if there's any analysis on these numbers that we can do. It's mostly orb. No surprise there from Raidish. Go ahead.
Mostly orb. Yeah. I was going to also just say, I feel like we didn't get to see a lot of Shock Room stuff happen. The 2 times that Snowy got like an opening, I remember towards the beginning of the game, Raidish ended up dodging out 2 times and getting out of it. So the big Shock Room stuff is, of course, putting you in the perpetual blender of neutraler and recovery galore. We didn't get to see that aside from once or twice. That is what makes Priya so menacing. So the question is Snowy going to be able to set those up in this next game? That is a lot of Priya's essential damage output.
Yeah, Raidish is playing like a really grounded game, or at least the positioning between the two is he's under the Priya. And so by being there, like, he's not going to be getting hit by these neutral airs and recoveries that often. He's still below. There's one. Okay. But you can't get the KO off the top. You're not going to get it here. Maybe if we were on the Small Worlds, then you might grab it. It's a little stutter step forward from Snowy. But Raidish is playing very grounded. So even if he does get hit by that startup, it at least starts down near the ground and not like 2 jump heights up or extending off of the soft platform. Snowy wants to play around that. Raidish is going to catch him.
Is he going to be able to get this edge guard? This could be guaranteed. He just goes for the ground pound. Snowy able to just go up and around Raidish, and just like that, the situation has been reset. Raidish, man, he has been sig happy. Okay, very happy, in fact, that NSIG ended up connecting. So maybe I can't be too mean about it because, you know, it has been successful.
I mean, Red Raptor does have a strong signature kit. Every signature is not the greatest in the world, which is why you'll see him rely on some more than others, like specifically the neutral signature, and then also like he used to use the motorbike a lot more than I think he does now, because I think people have gotten a little bit more wise to that than they used to be. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, again, such a good 3-piece sider, neutral sider. Again, he's already found 2 of those, and that is a lot of damage. Oily was not really supposed to get that much going. Okay, Snowy, how do you get this opening? Landing recovery. Okay, nicely done.
Oh, he was starting up the ground pound. You could hear like the first few frames of that sound play, but it wasn't active with a hitbox in time.
Interesting choice to go for ground pound, right? So, yeah, Snowy just got there in time. Let's see what he's able to make happen now. He's looking for the Cider. Raidish just stays put, punishing it with the N-Light. The Cider is like, you know, surprisingly like one of like Priya's like smallest moves.
He hoped he could catch Snowy still being high in the air after that, or like a panic jump after that, which is why he did the GC side signature. But Snowy, of course, like I feel like most players probably would in that situation, is go back down, like fast fall out of that or dodge down out of that so that they can go over, maybe play low on the wall and touch it as quickly as they can to reset jumps.
Let's see, how does Snowy land here? Okay, side light sail, nicely done, 2-piece. Raidish is jumping up and around looking for the GC side light, picking up the chakrams again, just a GC D-light to be able to split him up. Raidish missing his recovery, tries to ground pound. Snowy not able to get the follow-up. Oh, that is going to be able to do it. And just like that, he has a 2-1 stock lead.
I'm waiting for like the rare bird foot. Because Raidish will usually use the beak more often, but like we'll sometimes get like the rare bird foot, and I feel like it happens like maybe 50% of the time where it actually makes a connection, and it's usually like potentially over there on the edge, or if he's just like floating above his opponent and they don't seem to be doing very much, like they're waiting to punish a landing or something like that.
Okay, the downer is able to come out. Raidish just tossing the weapon up, forcing Snowy to get back onto the stage if he didn't want to eat that weapon toss. Nicely done. He has just basically punched his way to get back onto the stage. The GC
nice.
the immediate ground pound.
Nice.
With the okay, don't celebrate. It's too early. Or maybe begin celebrating, I guess. Oh
I thought he was about to get like the perfect timing on it, where he throws out the taunt, and then right after the taunt is done, he throws out like. Yeah, he throws out his signature and then gets the KO off of that. So it was almost like a super steezy taunt, even though it was an early taunt.
So I'm beginning to see a little bit of what's going on here. Raidish is really making the most out of his movement, out of his speed. It's interesting, Snowy's opting for the forward stance, sacrificing a little bit of his own speed. Raidish is constantly outspacing Snowy, specifically on the landing siders. Snowy has 2 options from here on out, which is you either ambiguously and non-committally land in front of Raidish, try to fake him out and force him to whiff something, or you have to begin overshooting, dashing in, committing heavier, and think about where Raidish is going. Raidish has consistently avoided a lot of Snowy's approach options, avoided a lot of damage, and found his own punish because of it. Snowy, though, picking up a little bit of steam. Down air, tries to go for the GC D-Light there, it looked like. Okay.
One thing Raidish also did really well last game was like forcing Snowy more onto Sword. The damage between the two is like 193 on Chakram to 142 on Sword. So relatively close for much closer than every other. Okay, there's the motorcycle. He rides it all the way as far as he can before it runs out of gas. But forcing Snowy onto Sword is absolutely a good thing here because Raidish he seems to do so much better in that matchup given like the relative thought and place in the meta that Sword has right now. So if you can force him onto that, like you're gonna get a victory there. It got the nice turnaround with the side sig.
Thinking Raidish would go a little bit further. He hopped off the motorcycle. Snowy, can he make it back onto the stage? He leans in so aggressively. He's able to get the side air. Raidish is without a weapon off stage. Snowy is gonna be able to get the fused downer. Beautifully done. That recovery option, he was just so aggressive. Raidish thought he backed up enough. Snowy overshot it. He landed the side air. He waited out all of Raidish's jumps. Now Raidish, nice way to be able to get that stock off. What was that? Was that the D-Light recovery?
Yes, I believe so. But I also kind of blacked out in that moment. I was looking at the stats, man.
Yeah. Okay, this is the best game so far for Snowy. Is he going to be able to get a game here?
Ooh, okay. He's adding up some quick damage here. Using the down air into the side air. Over on the wall, there's a nice recovery. Oh, that's going to be a punish.
Oh, the recovery, the Raidish was just a little bit too far below. Snowy able to get the punish with the side air, nicely done. Downer, recovery, that is some serious damage being dealt onto Raidish. The question is, does Snowy have the lethality? Tries to go for the side to Raidish.
He's floundering. It feels like Raidish has lost all of his confidence here. Like, his punishes are off, his movement is off, his initiations are off. He just feels like completely off. He's not so far behind, but it just feels like...
everybody struggle to punish those side sigs.
Yeah.
I've seen everybody miss those,
go.
but the end sig comes out. This is huge.
Snowy is weaponless. Now he's back over on the sword. Oh, the nice jump from Raidish to get away from that falling side air that came out from Snowy, and then turning that around and getting the stock off. Okay, he has just a little bit of a lead here. Let's see if he can get some momentum back in his favor after
Tries to pick him out, and that's
really
the
tough,
recovery.
really tough last half of that second stock.
He's getting close to Raidish, and then he's just waiting a little bit instead of swinging immediately, right? Because Raidish was able to call out his timings, Raidish was able to dodge past him a few times. That's a downer, that's no neutrality follow-up. This feels so doable for Snowy. He's approaching so much safely that he did, and then he lands with side air like that. Raidish could have gotten a victory punish.
I think he was hoping for the low damage punish more than just a sidelight sider. Obviously, he went with the sidelight into a D-light recovery. The D-light didn't hit and the recovery didn't hit after. He was hoping to maybe catch in the air since the D-light didn't hit. Oh, this is devastating. Is that going to be a KO? Oh, I bet it was so close. Oh, just a little bit more damage, and I bet that was going to be a KO. He's looking for the down airs into the recoveries. Yep. There's a nair into the recovery attempt.
But now, just the recovery, as it is, will be able to do it for Snowy, and you already know how easy it is for Free to be able to find those. Down to recovery is going to be able to do it, popping Raidish up, beautifully done. And you see why, I mean, you know, the recovery is just like so powerful, right? You could let it rip by itself, you could combo it from neutral, you could combo it from downer. There's so many ways for Priya to actually set it up, even if it doesn't have the most KO power when it's split. There's a lot of ways to get it out there.
And so we went from a game that Snowy lost, where he was kind of splitting the difference between Chakram and sword damage, to a game where he did 512 on Chakram and only 16 on sword. So, like, he maybe got 2 hits, or maybe did, like, 1 good hit and then a couple weapon tosses in there, and that's a game that Snowy wins. So if you can force him onto sword, that's a potential, like, at least one part of your win condition if you're Raidish.
Yeah, it's Priya, right? That's Priya. We know how maybe Sword has fallen off the meta. We know how good Chakram is at the moment, right? So, yeah, it definitely worked out for Snowy that game. I mean, listen, he found his openings, he got his reads, he was able to get his KOs, and he's looking to get that started again. Raidish, let's see if he's able to, you know, just get this before it goes to a game 5.
Yeah, this is a much better start for Raidish. A little bit of the juggle coming out from Snowy. He even taps that soft platform just to make sure his jumps are reset in case he wants to re-engage up at the top or go back down to the main platform and play off of Raidish's landing. That could be scary. Oh, the GC sidelight. Not able to make a connection. Raidish swapping back over to the boots here, giving Snowy plenty of room before finding the neutral signature. I guess he wanted to wait for the move to come out. He wanted to bait a move out from Snowy by doing nothing and then punish with that neutral signature for the KO. Massive lead for Raidish. If he can hold on to this, then I think we're going to have a similar result to what we saw in game 1 and 2. That's going to deny Snowy the game 5. It's going to deny Snowy the potential reverse 3, and it's going to give Raidish a 3-1 victory.
Yeah, think about how good that Ensig is in this matchup for Boots, right? Because Boots normally struggles to cover that diagonal space. Okay, are they both going to make it back on? Yes, they will. But, yeah, having that Ensig available, you just cover that space. It came out, but it didn't connect.
That's he just flipped tails, and so if we see one more, he's due, right? Like he has to hit it.
Tails again.
That was tails on the beak. Different data set. The math still stands until we're proven otherwise, and we have a 2-stock lead here for Raidish.
That's right, guys. The more that you flip tails, the higher the likelihood of heads. That is how
that's true. It's right. So true.
It's like the meme with the diamonds. Just keep on gambling. Okay, Raidish comes back onto the stage. Snowy, able to get the D-Light sail. Nicely done. Goes out there, goes off stage. They're both sweating. Is Raidish gonna be able to touch? Yes, he does. Snowy opts to play it safe and pick up the chakrams. He finds the recovery, and that is gonna be able to KO. But man, he is behind. He is so behind right now. Can't he do this?
Ooh, nice! I can't believe that recovery didn't pick up. Yeah, Raidish is like almost a full, actually more, I'm sorry. Significantly more than a full stock up right now. It's like 1.5 stocks. Give us the foot, brother.
Okay, he's beginning. We're seeing the blend happen. Can he do this? But then he eats that so he's so deep off stage at the moment. The down sig doesn't connect again.
Alright, I'm gonna have to revise my theory a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
We've seen 2 side heavies so far this game. One was from Raidish and it missed, and the second one was from Snowy and it did make a connection.
The D-Sig ends up whiffing. Raidish ends up down airing Snowy in no position to be able to punish that. What? Did he want to down it? What was that? Why'd he do that?
I think he just knew it was over. He just knew he was done there. And we even saw Raidish pull out the balloon taunt, the heart balloon taunt that he did before, but he made sure he didn't do it too early, which is why like it was the first few frames of it. He didn't even have it like fully in the air when it starts beating or anything like that just yet.
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm fairly certain that might have been a down air. Or at least maybe at the very least a double jump sale that he didn't actually get out there. Priya, I mean, of course you get all the horizontal drift after the dare that you use as a recovery tool. It stalls you a little bit. So I'm actually going to just chalk that one up to a misinput. Of all the legends in the game, I actually do think that Priya has a very big comeback factor, a very big comeback mechanic, just in the form of you get that one dodge read at the top of the stage, you obliterate that stock, right? You do the thing that Spear mains want to do, except maybe like 4 times easier. So I don't think Snowy was totally checked out of the game. He was trying his best. You know, the sidelight haymaker that he went for when he was unarmed was like that was kind of crazy. That was kind of cool. But yeah, at the end of the day, Raidish looked so good in this matchup today. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he had like complete confidence. He found a way to deal with at least Snowy's chakrams. Maybe not chakram in general. Maybe not the best chakram player in the world. That remains to be seen, right? Like that's the future question mark on the roadmap, where it's like the date of this one is Spring Championship 2025. He knows how to beat Snowy, and then it's like the next ones are like, okay, well, how do I beat them? How do I beat Frydazol? And the date below them is like TBD. So that remains to be seen, and I can't wait to actually see. Unfortunately, things might change a little bit with the future patch coming up, so we may not even have to worry about that whatsoever. But the thing we are worried about now, unless you have anything to add on the previous set, is our next set, which is Meg D versus Flower. So we went from like we've had 2 different era players in the current set that we're about to watch and the previous set as well. Like we had Raidish, and then we have Snowy, who came before Raidish, and then now we have Flower, and then we have Meg D, who came before Flower. So it's like the era in the middle is like Meg D and Raidish. We have the before time, which is Snowy, and then we have the after time, which is Flower.
So this is going to be really, really interesting. I really like talking about Flower. To me, like one of the most interesting players at the moment. So he is, the last time that we got to see him in singles, I don't even think he competed in any community tournaments. He got 3rd at the Winter Championships. He got 3rd in the NA Winter Championships, which is pretty serious. That is amazing. And on top of that, he beat Meg D in a Game 5. It's not a set that I'm able to recall off the top of my head. I don't remember at what point in the bracket that was, but that is definitely like, you know, that's pretty good. That's pretty huge. Flower just perpetually at this point on the come up. His placements have been better and better. You know, this is the Yumiko specialist at the moment. Very exciting player to watch, very exciting player to think about. His opponent's going to be Meg D, of course. He won against him previously. It was a Game 5, which means that at the very least, this set is going to be a close one. But I think this one can go any which way. Either of them have it.
To answer your question about when it was in bracket, it was winners round 1 of top 32 when Meg D and Flower faced off, and it went all the way to Game 5. So before games would be appearing on the mainstream.
I see. Okay, so nobody got to see what happened, actually, unless you were spectating that lobby. So, okay, all right. Let's see what happens. Right now, Megdi just looking for the safe way to be able to land. Finally able to catch that sail as Flower was too close to him. Flower dashing away, finding a sidelight.
And so we're over here on Demon Island, and we're going to be having like 2 vertically KOing weapons. Like obviously there are signatures, but in terms of the like light and heavy attacks that are not signatures, you have recovery for gauntlets, and then you also have like recovery for bow. Although you also have like neutral air sometimes, and then if they're really desperate, neutral light. But all of that is either straight vertical if we're talking about Nair at a 45-degree angle, which is the furthest distance you can find to a blast zone with the recovery or the end light. So this is going to be, I think this map kind of nullifies all of those KO options for them, and it'll be better to rely on other ones, especially if we're talking
Just
about
like
Flower
you
having
mentioned.
hammer.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you saw that sidelight recovery. It did not KO, so really good point. Yeah, Demon Island's going to make it a little bit more difficult to KO off the top. Sidelight sail is going to be a little bit more important. Flower able to get the stomp sail. Meg D just able to land up and above the projectiles of the D-Sig. Flower dashing in, dashing out. You already know what he's hunting for. He wants that D-Light. Oh, that's going to be
landing Sair. It got punished by Meg D. He was ready for it. He overspaced it, and he was ready to get the punish in time as well. Starting things off with a neutral light, sending Flower over to the wall. Unfortunately, a weapon spawn didn't come down in time that Meg D could deny that.
Oh, Flower being so patient. He lands with the sail. He's able to switch up the situation. He goes out there for the D-Sig, still able to cover with the sail, but it just put Meg D back onto the stage because of how little knockback that had.
Oh, just barely getting away from those wisps. Flower is not able to find either a KO move on its own or the startup into the KO move whatsoever.
Ooh.
And now Flower's orange.
Okay, Meg D committing for the night target. Is he gonna get punished for it? The answer is yes, he will. Flower getting in there with an end light. But I like the punish though. Yeah, nicely done.
Yeah, he made sure to go with the end light there so that he could get the 2 moves, the 2 like little kicks, the one after the other, in case like Meg D wanted to spot dodge like he did, and then you can last through that spot dodge.
With how much Flower is dashing on the ground, I feel like Sidelight is going to be a very important tool for Meg D in this matchup right now. Especially like dash and Sidelight should be able to cover all those dashes from Flower. Flower is like hunting and threatening with like a Sidelight and like a D-Light potentially, but I'm anticipating that happening any moment.
Flower's done a great job of bringing it back here. He's still just a little bit behind. I'm just waiting for the stray hit from Meg D to come out. That could set up. He's going back over to the orb. Where's the
weapon toss?
The landing punish? Where is it? I'm waiting for it from Meg D here. There
That's
it is.
it. He found it. He got it. He backed away. Perfect possible spacing. Flower thinking that he was going to be safe, but Meg D, yeah, I mean, his spacing on that was immaculate, wasn't it?
He's done it like now twice against like those landing side airs that Flower's been hunting for a few different times. So that just isn't something that Flower can rely on. Like Meg D absolutely knows how to deal with that. Even like the higher speed of Yumiko, so you can like zip around, you can drift a little bit further than you would think. Like Meg D's able to call all of that out and know exactly what the maximum effective range is.
Oh, Flower looking for the end sig. They're not going to be able to connect it. That's
that's tough.
Oh no. You can't be dropping those. You absolutely
It really stinks whenever you like get in your own way and you like you do what in a vacuum is like an intelligent move of like throwing your weapon toss up, but then you find the opportunity while it's still in the air to get the true KO combo and you're like, well, I gotta go for it. Uh-oh, and then you're not able to find it. Unarmed KO off the top with the recovery. We'll see if Flower can bring this back. I believe the lead is smaller here than it was on the previous stock whenever that was taken. Just going with a raw neutral signature to catch Meg D in the air. Yep.
Those last stocks are usually where we see the greatest concentration of those signatures. Flower using up the recovery. Meg D doesn't really go out there through the edge guards. He plays it safe. Sidelight Sail, he's a lot more confident in his neutral. He doesn't want to overcommit, especially not against Hammer. He just jumps out there. He waits. He baits. The jump just forced Flower to do something. He jumped after Flower. He saw the dodge, and he was like, okay, great. I can go ahead and follow that just fine now. So very nicely done. Yeah, Meg D caught the landings. His edge guarding / like ledge trapping was very safe. He didn't make any more commitments than he needed to. The one time that he did, he got punished for it by an end light from Flower. We haven't actually seen Flower's D-Sig on either of the weapons, I feel like, have any impact on this game whatsoever. None of them felt like they could control Meg D's movement.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. One thing I'm noticing about Meg D as well is like I feel like I'm just kind of watching Raidish for the most part. I don't know how often Meg D has played Priya, or sorry, not Priya. What is this legend's name? I'm already forgetting.
Petra.
Petra,
wait.
Petra, similar names, right? Because he hasn't reported his characters. Shame on you, Megdi. Even though you're my boy, but yeah. So like I feel like a lot of the time I'm kind of just watching Raidish, which like isn't it's not. I'm watching Raidish in parentheses derogatory. Like obviously Raidish is very good. I just feel like I'm seeing so much orb and it's just really Raidish coded.
I feel like that as well. Yeah, he's very patient, he's very reserved, and then, you know, we just don't see, I guess, the same amount of signatures that Raidish does, but granted, these are Petra signatures. They function very, very differently than good graphics. So we'll see Megdi going out there just for the safe recovery back on, making the most out of that distance, knowing that Flower can't possibly challenge that. Flower looking for the neutral. D-Light Silk, putting Megdi off stage. The D-Sig, again, I'm telling you, Megdi is not far away enough for them to actually have much relevance in controlling the movement. There's a very subtle middle ground. Okay, dash jumping down, not gonna be enough. Tries to go for another one. The jump gets called out.
Oh, the neutral air to contest. Still not enough to KO. That should do it. No, high defense coming through from Petra. Oh, he didn't touch.
He wasn't able
was
to
so
touch.
close.
Yeah, he was just a little bit too far. I like the idea though. I like the commitment anyways. But okay, let's see how Megdi's gonna be able to close this. So we have gauntlets. You already know. Sidelight, D-Light. Well, all of that is gone now because he is opting for the orb. So what does he want? He wants a sidelight. He wants a call out with recovery. If he sets up an edge guard, perhaps. Flower, recovery, and light. Whoa.
Ooh, the juggling
Okay.
coming through, and Megdi just has not thrown out a down air. Ground pound isn't really apt for this moment, so he's certainly not going to throw that out, but he has not thrown out a down air despite being above Flower so often towards the end of this first stock of Flower. Dude, Flower's adding him so much damage, Megdi has nothing!
Yeah, that is phenomenal extra credit. Megdi needs to be able to close out this stock ASAP. The cider did not connect. Flower
There you
finally going to be getting hit by that recovery because, man, that thing is active. That is a speeding car out of control. And Flower, well, standing in the middle of the highway.
Now, I'm glad you brought up the Wisps earlier and how they've been, like, pretty ineffective for Flower. And if you look at the Wisps, it's like you can have an entire set where the Wisps never hit your opponent, never give you a setup, never make contact whatsoever. He's not even able to do anything off of that. I think he didn't believe it was going to hit because the last one was the one that made contact. But you can never hit it, and they can still be an effective tool. You can miss every single one, and they can still be an effective tool, but that's not the case here. They're not controlling space. They're not forcing Megdi into situations that Flower can react off of. They just kind of like exist. They can almost be there without a hitbox, and it's just like something visual and a cool effect. And you'd be kind of getting the same thing out of them here for Flower.
That's good. So it's something I'd like to touch on after this game because I have some more like thoughts.
Of course.
Insights I'd like to provide on it. But at the moment, Flower's got a lead. Flower's got a lead, and he is continuing to push it. The N-Light going to be able to actually connect there. Another one, Flower with the jump callouts with all these different neutralities. Amazing. So good.
Yeah,
Just
these
moving around
nair
Megdi.
pickups. They've been great.
Oh!
Okay, all right.
What?
He's just going to
Megdi?
take that.
Megdi didn't go anywhere.
He took that just like SpongeBob getting punched by Bubble Bass. Like, it just isn't a problem.
Oh man, this is it. That's right. Brawlhalla dash jump city neutral. How do you punish it? I don't know. Anti-orb, you can go at like a D-light in one of the directions and you have a pretty good chance of being great. You could also just kind of toss out a side light because of how active it is. Flower is probably gonna land on it at some point eventually. So yeah, or just a jump neutrally. So yeah, Megdi's got to call that out and get Flower to stop moving like that. Yeah.
I want to make a correction. I said SpongeBob getting punched by Bubble Bass, and it's actually not Bubble Bass, it's Flats. That's my mistake.
It's Flats. I see. Okay,
Flats.
very important distinction. Thank you for clarifying.
Two different guys. Oh, Flower. He's staying glued to the ground. Really not committing whatsoever. There's the sidelight side air from Megdi. No downer over the corner.
He's landing slowly. He's being nice and patient. He's backing up a little bit here. The D-Sig, just the very tip of it is going to connect, but Flower was in no position to follow up the preemptive neutrally just to potentially swat Megdi away. He was patient. He avoided the sidelight. There's no punish on it. He whips the Sari that stopped. Sari is going to be able to do it. Flower is now taking us into a 1-1. So the thing I wanted to point about, you know, specifically Yumiko's D-Sigs and how projectiles work and how they should work. is that there's a very awkward middle ground that you have to keep finding of the right spacing to use it. Of course, when you do it too close to your opponent, they're able to react and punish you while you're in all that end lag. Too far away, and the projectiles dissipate before they're able to actually threaten an opponent that's like, you know, looking at the screen and seeing what's going on and knowing how much time they have. It feels like Flower is never in that right amount of like middle ground where he could catch Megdi potentially jumping into it, where he could still manipulate Megdi's movement. Megdi has either been too close, oftentimes, or sometimes too far. So I want to see Flower play at that distance, but Sparky,
Okay.
what is this damage coming out?
Hammer juggling is like potentially some of the most damaging juggling in the entire game. Like getting hit by several neutral airs from a hammer player. Like you're going to be feeling that one in the morning. It's a lot of damage. There's the side air sending over to the edge. Like Flower has not hit Megdi that many times, all things considered, and he almost has Megdi in the red. And this is on a higher defense legend.
Stomp, Sarah coming through. Megdi's got to find a way to be able to make it back on. The downer is going to be the tool of choice. Nicely done, fighting his way. And now picking up the orb. Flower not hitting anybody. He wanted a big jump call out. He gets big called out for it. Because look at the punish from Megdi now. Can he get the stock is the question.
Flower's going to be looking for a weapon. He felt confident enough to go in with the unarmed recovery. There's a sidelight sider from Megdi. It's from the middle of the stage. Not enough straight to KO there. There's the weapon toss. Perfect spot dodge coming out from Megdi. There's the recovery reading the other way. Very Raidish move right there. And he's able to get the first stock. The way that Flower...
He's diminished the lead. Megdi has the lead now.
Exactly. Now, the way it feels like the way that Flower is using Wisps sometimes is it's like when you're peeking a corner in Counter-Strike, but you know... Or you're like lazy peeking it, right? So you're going to make the move and turn your camera that way, but you're not actually expecting someone to be there. You're not in the right mindset to actually flick to their head and get the KO in that moment. You're just kind of like, well, I'm supposed to look in that corner because I'm supposed to. Like, that's just, and I'm going to go through the motions here. It feels like Flower is going through the motions a lot of the time.
Yeah, Flower has not been able to get like a... really like a tight read on what Megdi's movement is going to be in response to the D-Sig, right? When it gets tossed out, when the Wisps come out. So we'll just have to see. At the moment, though, Flower has evened up the stock count. In fact, has taken another damage lead at the moment here and is looking to find a way to rack that up. The Cell landing was not going to actually connect there. Tossing out the weapon. Sidelight. Going through the ensign. Megdi. Uh-oh. Neutralize ground pound. Is this going to be it for Flower's stock?
He wasn't able to throw the weapon toss high enough to actually make contact with Megdi. Megdi stayed around. He got a lot of damage in that moment too, but they're pretty even in this moment. That was good from Flower to just kind of hit the unarmed recovery and get out of dodge, but Megdi still is able to clean up that stock and maintain this lead. He's still not in red yet.
Let's see how Flower is going to be able to do it. Now with, oh my gosh, is it going to be the NSYNC? Yes, it will. Beautifully done. All of a sudden, Flower has made this game once again exactly even. This has been probably the most even set that you and I have had the pleasure of seeing so far. These two are so back and forth. You can see why this previously went to a Game 5.
Oh, Flower, really reluctant to commit here. A lot of movement coming out before doing anything, and it was the in-light. There's the neutral air. They're like the two moves we've seen in the past 15, 20 seconds almost.
That's a sign of a good bow play, right? Because you don't get to press anything as bow without getting punished for it if it ends up whiffing. Everything is fairly committal, sidelight and D-light especially. So Flower is threatening on the ground, occasionally mixing in some neutral airs to make Megdi uncomfortable, like being in that airspace. And that neutral air is, you know, the thing that you can probably get away with whiffing the most often if Megdi is far away enough. But Flower, these neutral airs are not connecting now.
Oh, the D-light, you're able to cover it with the in-light. It's almost like going sword mode and having that in-light that can still hit stacked as well as Megdi was coming in for the attack.
Nice double jump call out, beautifully done. Flower just dash jumping again, playing so patient. The end light whips, backing away again. Megdi not gonna be able to get the punish. Megdi has not found a clean opening in quite some time. Dude, look at this neutral.
Yeah, Megdi's just, he's basically got nothing here. It's almost like we're watching Frydazal play Priya the way he was playing yesterday for some of our sets. It's like he was just playing around that top platform. He was playing above his opponent, not really committing down, maybe throwing out a down air or something like that. Getting away from those whips just barely. That one he goes into, and finally, Flower gets the setup that he's been looking for the entire time. Because the other times that the Wisps have actually made contact, it's always been towards like the end stage of them when they're lingering around for the final frames of it, and they make contact, and Flower's like, okay, well, they're not going to hit. Oh, wait, all of a sudden they did hit. I have to find the punish. And then by the time he goes through that like mental decision-making process, it's already too late, and he's not able to find it. Just like Lil Cat back in the day used to throw out D-Light into nothing on Sword and Hammer because he didn't expect the D-Light to hit. And then by the time he recognized that it did make contact, everything was too late.
3,
Okay.
2,
What is this?
brawl.
Okay,
Lin
so
Fei
I don't
coming
know if this is like a genius 4D chess move from Meg D, or if this is just like he just wants to play the Lin Fei. But in-game chat before the set started, Flower said, "I'm insecure about my skill after getting reversed by Guichabu, so I'm putting on my title." We don't know who Guichabu was playing because I didn't happen to see the set, but it could have been Lin Fei. I know he's kind of moved away from the Lin Fei lately, but this might be Meg D trying to put on his Guichabu jacket and like go to work on Flower's mental more than anything else.
We'll have to see. How is Meg D going to be able to approach the two weapons that threaten with some massive buttons, some big keep away? Okay, the Stomp Cell comes out, the D-Sig into the recovery, and the ground pound. How big is that horizontal hitbox? How big was it? We're going to see a replay of that. Because quite frankly, I don't actually think that ground pound should have connected. Good spacing on Flower's end, but that was kind of messed up that actually hit. That was, I mean, that covered so much.
Unless Meg D finds something here, especially after that KO, the lead that Flower has, you might be regretting this decision. There's the neutral light. Like he could find a couple like major moves like neutral lights, nair juggle, something like that, and then find like the classic Guichabu option of I'm gonna start throwing out some signatures on Cannon, or even swapping over to Katars and using those signatures as well. Like we could see the stock be lost here shortly, even though Flower's just in the orange. There's the D-Light into the recovery. He felt confident
He
to
saw
do
the
that after
boot
the dodge was
dodge,
burned.
so it was a true combo. Yeah, the GC came out there. But yeah, Meg D, he's just been trying to solve this puzzle. The puzzle is, how do you call out Flower's movement? Flower is making the most out of these dashes, out of these dash jumps, out of the random sporadic neutralize that make Meg D afraid enough to be able to land on top of his opponent.
Oh!
The N-Sig comes out,
Nice!
the weapon toss, he's cooked.
It really feels like Bo, especially from Flower, just has like the perfect options to deal with Meg D, who's playing like not the most confident guitars in the world here. Another one! But if he wants to come in with the down air, Flower's able to react in time with the neutral light. If he wants to land and do an in light on the guitars, then the Flower was right there ready with the side light. So he's just so ready. His reaction times are so good to Meg D's guitars right now.
Okay, Flower.
Oh, he didn't space it right.
Oh, okay, he wasn't ready for it that time. Flower's like busy moving around so much, he didn't expect Meg D just to jump into it. Okay, what's it gonna be? He's looking for the side light. The stomp! Oh my god, the side stick is gonna be able to do it! He three-stalked Meg D! He three-stalked him!
Did the 3-stock, and he did it only having to do 484 damage. So how much is that? That's like 34 over. So that's like 158 and some change per stock. He gets right past red, and he's finding the KOs. He's using the signature kit. Like, Wisps,
Look at this
like
ground
that's
pound.
one of the...
Look at this ground pound. Look at this ground pound hit.
Oh,
Look
yeah,
at this ground pound hit! Look at it! Look at it.
Does he dip off the wall? He has
everybody,
to dip. That's like,
everybody,
all right.
go back
All right,
back a
guys.
few frames. I want to see exactly at the point that it hit. Thank you, Sandwick. I don't want to yell at you and tell you what to do, but I feel upset. I feel a little frustrated. First of all, congratulations to Flower. I'm a big fan of Flower, but even I don't feel good about this. I don't feel good about this.
We need to do something about that. I'm gonna write my congressman because there's no shot, dude. Come on. There's no way that hits. There's no way that hits there. That is, guys. Let's do something about that. Call your congressman.
This is
call all the powers that be, man.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Next, I don't know anything about politics. Something about bills in the floor. You'd be able to talk to us more about how a bill actually gets passed. But yeah, the point is, government should interfere with businesses more often so that they tell BMG to nerf Hammer. That's what I'm really trying to get at.
People on Twitter are going to get mad at you.
No, specifically I'm only talking about this in the context of ground pound. Only about Hammer ground pound right now, okay? Because let me tell you right now, the greedy BMG corporation has gone unchained for too long. Okay.
All right, never mind. Everyone on Twitter's back on your side. Everyone loves you right now.
Okay. Anyways, that happens. This happens with all platform fighters. I don't even think I'm actually all that genuinely upset about it, but like, it's inevitable that you'll see like something like connect, like that was probably like exact like to like the pixel on like the hitbox and the hootbox. But you'll see stuff like that and go, that's crazy. Why did that hit there? And that happens like once in a blue moon. So honestly, what that was is that was just actually like as perfect spacing as you can get. The reason why that's so good is because, you know, I feel like the thing that, you know, a lot of players do is they want to hit somebody, you know, sliding on like the edge of the stage. They want to hit somebody that's clinging onto the wall. And what they end up doing is they ride the ground pound directly along it, right? Which is a nice way to get the guaranteed coverage, but you are missing out on the second half of your potential hitbox. And so what you're doing there is you're just really optimizing it and making sure that you cover as much space as possible. Okay, enough about that. Congratulations to Flower taking out Megdi once more, knocking him out of the tournament. Now, this is a hype set. This is a cool set. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think I'm curious what MoneyHalla's got to deal with this, because I don't know. I just see Bunny playing in MoneyHalla's face in ways that like a lot of other players won't be able to do, and especially with recent greatsword changes and the nerfs, that you can't just be like throwing out zoning moves like you would actually use a greatsword in real life. It's like swinging it around in these giant arcs to just control a lot of space so your opponent can't get in. You can't do that as safely anymore. So I think Bunny's gonna have a much easier time getting in, forcing the edge guard over here. Hopefully, oh, the pickup from MoneyHalla so Bunny didn't get bonked on the head.
So I just have to say, like, again, when it comes to the edge guarding, Bunny is going to be so heavily favored in this matchup. Why? Yes. She is a monster when it comes to the offstage, and guess what? Greatsword has maybe some of the most difficult recovery options in the game because, you know, Greatsword recovery, not the quickest, not the best hitbox on it. How is Bunny going to be able to secure the stock is the question. MoneyHalla makes it back on.
So, of course, you already just saw the side signature come out from Bunny. That's going to be an option, given the greatsword players love to play grounded. So, if you charge it up for, like, the minimum charge time to get the maximum range, you can't just do the minimum charge time, otherwise you'll get the short fist, like we just saw from Bunny. But if she charges up just a little bit longer, goes for the D-Sig as the on-stage punish option. Very interesting.
Yeah, that's called, what are you going to do? You're going to dodge, Bunny? You're going to jump? Guess what? I have a button that lasts a millennia. The GC D-Light into the recovery is not going to come out. It's spaced a little bit too far back. Or perhaps there's a... Whoa! The N-Sig didn't connect. MoneyHalla with the optimal ground pound. That's another one that we got to see played back. We're going to see that one played back.
That's
MoneyHalla
crazy. That's such an interesting choice and a bold choice to go for a GC N-Sig there. You have weapon advantage. You surely should have just gone for like a Gauntlet Nair and then whatever follow-up after that, whether it's a weapon toss down, whether it's a follow-up ground pound, whether you wait and see. Like, going for a GC N-Sig, burning your dodge. MoneyHalla was at weapon disadvantage. I think that was a little bit too much.
Oh, whoa, hold on. MoneyHalla sliding off with the D-Sig, goes for the double.
Do it again.
Bunny, oh, Bunny dodging past. Optimal punish, optimal down air. Bunny with the reverse neutral to keep MoneyHalla off stage. Sidelight to kick him off. Bunny does not need a weapon to fight out there. That was so good. She waited, she baited, and she punished.
Yeah, I think MoneyHalla got a little bit too big for his britches in that moment and sliding off as far as he did. Maybe he was trying to change it up so that Bunny like expected that signature coming right over on the edge and expecting it in the same exact spot, where if he goes off a little bit further, then it's like, whoa, I didn't expect it to be in my face this early. I thought I had more time, and then getting hit by it.
That being said, MoneyHalla doing exactly what he does best. He found that dodge read, he caught Bunny dodging in, he got that stock. MoneyHalla fighting MoneyHalla off of her with that side sig. MoneyHalla just faking out the weapon, being nice and patient, because Bunny, of course, is right there ready to pick it back up with that axe now. Okay.
All right. Running all the way to the left side of the stage and turning around with the skateboard. All right, buddy.
Landing with the sail. Going for the weapon
Nice
toss. MoneyHalla has no dodge. No dodge.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, good. I was worried that we were going to get another suboptimal punish like we got earlier when Bunny threw out the Gauntlet D-Sig, dropping those bombs when it should have been a side sig. But no, that was perfect.
That was as perfect as you can get, because it put MoneyHalla just off stage enough for the ground pound to actually send him out there, despite the fact that he started off by being on the stage. So, MoneyHalla, a little bit of damage to make up. GC Sidelight is a big commitment. Was that meant to be a pivot and light? Oh, that's it!
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
No dodge.
Okay. I think I lost track a little bit of how much damage was already built up on Bunny. Like even once I saw that string start to like be manifested into fruition, I did not see that the final move of it, the closer, being a KO. I just didn't see that coming.
Look at the Ensig. Look at the Ensig. MoneyHalla had no dodge. For all intents and purposes, that Ensig was just like a few frames away from connecting.
Crazy.
You said he didn't like it as much. I liked it. I liked that GC Ensig. I think that she had the right idea. I think she like tapped into MoneyHalla's brain for a second and went, I think you're gonna want to go out here. Or maybe she just wanted to cover the side of the stage. And then it just didn't work out that way. It didn't go up high enough. I like the idea. MoneyHalla just had the best possible punish.
Man, I really want like 3 minutes so that I can go back and look at the replay of the hammer ground pound from last game, because that's still weighing on my mind. It's making the back of my brain itch. And I'm enjoying this set, but that's going to be the first thing I do when we swap to a break. Oh, I really got to look at that hammer ground pound and see like what happened there.
Okay, so some thoughts. MoneyHalla did the thing. Again, the games where you see somebody dodge in against MoneyHalla are quite frankly the games that he ends up winning. Anybody that does that against him and think that they can get away with it, well, he just proves otherwise every single time. His damage output was there, his lethality was there, his KO potential is all excellent. That damage target, I believe, is from the last set, that is Flowers. Yeah, so that's not quite MoneyHalla, so please set that aside for a second. But, you know, he was able to do that. Similarly, I feel Bunny, you know, she wasn't able to get the edge guards that she was looking for. She went a little bit crazy off stage. She got some really good damage, but she wasn't actually able to secure those stocks. For her, that is one of the most important ways that you need to be able to get those. And then she also wasn't able to find a lot of side light recoveries. The D-light recovery also didn't pan out. So she was missing some lethality that game. Whereas MoneyHalla was a lot more consistent with actually finding those KOs, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. The fact that MoneyHalla is able to contest Bunny on the edge. Now, it could just be because we're still kind of early in the set, and Bunny hasn't like really found out how to deal with MoneyHalla on the edge. Maybe like she has been able to find against her previous opponents throughout the tournament today. Like we're 0-1 right now, right? Like that was like just game one. We're still super early in the set. Bunny still has plenty of time to like figure it out and then realize how to like push the offstage advantage that she normally has against a lot of different people. Just, you know, you gotta experiment for a little while. Because MoneyHalla is different. MoneyHalla is a significantly different player, playing different weapons than most people, playing a different legend than most people. All of that is different from a lot of different people. And look at what she's doing right now. She's completely dominating it so far. Gets the reverse side air. The turtle's just barely holding on, but there's the weapon toss to finish it up. Bunny has a massive lead.
Let me tell you something right now. Nothing feels better as an Axe player than getting that dash jump reverse side air. You feel like you're the best player in the world when you get those. And now it is up to MoneyHalla to find a way to secure the stock. He opts to give up stage control and let Bunny back on so that he can pick up his beloved greatsword. And let's see what he's able to do. The side light. Why is Gauntlet D-Light so big? That was longer than the greatsword side light. What's happening off stage?
Bunny almost got the neutral air, and I believe she did make connection with it, but the greatsword weapon toss bonked her on the head and knocked her out of it. That could have been the edge guard right there. That could have been 2-stock lead right there, but it was a great weapon toss from MoneyHalla. He does disarm himself and picks up the neutral air. All right, getting a little big for his britches with the unarmed side heavy. That's several, and the unarmed down heavy. And the GC unarmed down heavy. Just giving her the free punish.
What did I tell you about MoneyHalla and those heavies and the signatures? Right? Every single time, it's always going to be his own undoing. You have to be careful. The D-Sig is able to come out. Nice coverage there. I want to see really quickly what happened. Yeah, Bunny just went for the neutral air and then didn't connect on MoneyHalla, and MoneyHalla hit from behind. So, good job closing out that stock. He can evaporate the stock on Bunny. She is not out of the woods yet.
So notice like the size difference when you look at the unarmed down heavy versus the down signatures that he was just using. They have a lot more coverage. So if he went for the down signature, GC down signature, but he had the weapon in his hand, we'd be seeing different coverage there.
That's right, he was, whoa, Bunny going crazy off stage, looking for the side sig, still able to pop out that recovery. MoneyHalla, hungry, asking for a weapon, please, and Bunny says, well, maybe you can have one right now. Not able to cover that in time. Side light, neutral air, true combo. MoneyHalla, no punish on the whip GC. D-light, and light is able to come out, but yeah, Bunny has too big of a lead at the moment. I don't think MoneyHalla has this game.
Yeah, especially with the double axe D-lights. One more might do it, I'm not sure. Okay, the weapon pickup into the side air. Another side air. Is Bunny gonna get caught here? Is this a game? Okay. Is this gonna give MoneyHalla the confidence that he needs to bring this back? Can he get a handful of insane greatsword reads? No, he can't. But the potential was there. The potential energy was there. He just didn't convert it to kinetic energy.
What was he pressing? I think he got caught in the start of something because he was facing the other way. He was just like, you know, flicking his movement a little bit, and then he turned back facing Bunny. I think he might have gotten called out in the start of something when the D-light ended up connecting. So I'd like to take a look at that one more time. Yeah, but either way, like again, you're never safe against MoneyHalla. That is a stock evaporator, a stock melter. So take a look, right? Walk, 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 turn around. Oh, did he just dash? He just dashed towards MoneyHalla, wasn't it? That was the start of a dash.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. In the tiny little preview window that I'm looking at. Man, that was a tough loss. That was a really tough loss for MoneyHalla. That put a lot of momentum in Bunny's favor. And we'll see how this one starts off. MoneyHalla was able to grab the first weapon, but he wasn't able to do anything with the weapon advantage until Bunny grabbed it. Okay, there's a nice 3-piece. 4-piece.
He's getting in.
Going
He's
for the big ground pound as
space.
well. Oh, that could be scary.
Punish? You know, I don't think Greatsword has actually that much stuff in that position besides neutrally down it, right? And Sarah might be like a little bit too slow even. I think that's all that MoneyHalla had.
Yeah, I was worried about the like setup into potential juggle opportunities, which again like aren't super high on Greatsword. Like you're not seeing like you'll see that. You'll see like 2 hits. You won't see like the extended. What a spot dodge!
Yeah, incredible. Honestly, just like optimal.
Oh, again.
Punish. Bunny, good recognition that she was off stage, that she was just able to fastball down. Didn't even need to use up a dodge. MoneyHalla just thought that she was going to like nervously dodge in, but no, she played that situation really well. Now MoneyHalla, no weapon in hand. It's Bunny off stage. Okay, we already know who wins these offstage interactions, but Money is able to get back on because Bunny opted to pick up the weapons instead. Let's see if that comes back to bite her. Who's going to be the first one to
You
close?
saw him go for
Bunny wants that
you saw
sideline.
him go for the weapon toss into the reverse side air, that turnaround side air. The devastating option. He's going to disarm himself here. Weapon spawn, yeah, it should be coming in soon. There's the weapon toss again. Is he going to go for another weapon toss initiation? Yep, there it is. There it is again. Oh, he's looking for these down airs.
Oh, I don't think he wanted to do that. I think he just wanted to do the GCD light. He wanted to do the immediate GCD light, but then he ended up dodging and down airing, and I don't know what happened there. Okay, anyhow, Bunny. Let's see, how do you... Oh, what? The side air! Whiffed! Upon it with the side sig.
Have the timing on it. I don't know if it would have hit if there wasn't the dodge there from Bunny. It might not have hit regardless, and the dodge was exclusively there as a tool to get the gravity cancel, or if she was able to dodge that, and then by the time her iframes were over because she was initiating the gravity cancel, then she was able to make contact and get the hit. Oh, I thought we were going to see another side
I don't know exactly
there.
the landing hitbox of Greatsword too, but MoneyHalla optimal punish, very good. That's what you have to do to somebody like Bunny off stage. When she commits like that against you, she presses that ground pound, move down and away, and you don't want to keep that edge guard going. You don't want to just rush back onto the stage. You want to punish her with what she whiffed against you.
Yeah, the second she pulled out of that ground pound, you're able to jump and get above her, and while she's still in whiff lag and a little bit of movement down, then you find the axe down air. That's just like a classic axe response. Like that's axe 101, maybe 201.
Dashing out. And Light's able to come through, putting MoneyHalla off stage. Bunny and Lighting in the wrong direction, not able to read MoneyHalla's landing. That's going to be a lot of damage dealt. He commits off stage, very dangerous to do. Oh my gosh, the late recovery, Sarah does it! What else could he have done? Did he have a dodge?
He threw the weapon toss up. Like, that was a fantastic start because there was a time previous where he threw the weapon toss up and it interrupted Bunny's movement after. Oh, thinking he can wake up with a GC in light. There's the recovery coming out from Bunny, of course. I thought we were going to see another one, but no, she went for the GCD light. There's the in-light response from MoneyHalla. She dodges through the ground pound. This is scary. Yep, stage spike, game over.
Player 2.
Not against Bunny. You do not get to do that against Bunny. Bunny now going to be coming up 2-1 in this game count, in this set at the moment. Playing exceptionally well. Yeah, I mean, that's tough. You see Rayman off stage, you want to be able to go ahead and get the edge guard, but I really don't know if there's that many stronger edge guarders in the entirety of this game. You know, Bunny, she's comfortable out there. I feel like that's like her, that's where she wants to be all the time. So made the most out of that. Money, are we good? Money, are you good?
That's what I'm laughing at, Dara. We are seeing MoneyHalla with the desperation swap onto the Priya. He is at least level 25. I didn't catch what level he was specifically with this legend, but he's at least level 25 because he has the black color scheme. He has the gold forged chakram. So maybe he's nasty.
That's how you know he's serious.
Who knows?
That's how you know he's about it, I guess. Okay. All right. I'll save my comments at the moment. You know what? I don't think he should have switched. I think he was doing fine. I think that set was doable. I don't think he was getting demolished in the slightest. So I feel like this is actually quite confusing for me. But you know what?
I don't know.
Hey, he's got those shotgun combos. He's got it.
I'm willing to be charitable here. Normally, like a desperation swap like this, late set is like it's almost never a good thing. Almost never a good thing. But like he's making it work here so far. He has a massive lead, and also like we're in the chakra meta. So like this is a little bit different of a desperation swap.
Okay, I mean, this is an amazing lead that he's already built up for himself at the moment. Neutrally, Sailor tries to land again. Bunny is not able to really fend off against this onslaught of attacks. That recovery is so safe. Jump Sailor's gonna call out MoneyHalla, the ground pound as well. Bunny fast falling into the downer. Did she touch the side of the stage? She did not. MoneyHalla, though, not able to recognize that. Oh, that could have been so big if he had just occupied the side of the stage instead.
He's still holding on this lead. It's a full stock lead. He's still essentially doing like the chakram game plan, looking for the down air to set up into the neutral air recoveries, or if his opponent is above him, he's just looking for the regular neutral air recoveries or recovery neutral air, whatever order.
Okay, jump Sailor, MoneyHalla was all out of options, all out of buttons at that point after whiffing the recovery. And now Bunny, she has a lot of damage to be able to make up here. Gonna try to deny MoneyHalla from picking up a weapon. Weapon toss daily, good damage.
Ooh, okay. Split side light, giving him a ton of range with that. Also having a solid amount of force than the classic down air into side air. Is he going to do it again? Looking for the recovery, not enough to KO off the top. Oh, he hits the final stages, drifting that side air all the way to the right. And I do have information, level 28, Priya. So just a little bit past that 25 required for the black color scheme.
Okay, well, I mean, it's working out. He's an entirely stock up. He's looking exceptionally healthy at the moment. His combos have been immaculate, and Bunny has been struggling to get in, and he has been beating Bunny at her own game, which is actually coming to the off stage. He has been consistently swinging and connecting everything off stage. Down and calling out the recovery. Side light, backing off, getting another side light, and light, down and recovery. Damage on damage on damage. Oh my god.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bunny just seems like completely unable to deal with Chakram. And given that we've seen, at least from the games that I've seen today, like not very much Chakram whatsoever, again, I'm thinking that my theory that like a lot of North American players are not really swapping to this legend for this tournament. They're going to just kind of do the old faithful. I think that could be like matchup inexperience for North America. Bunny still has potential here. She's basically going to have to play perfect for Hala because it's not going to take much. Holding that one, that was very dangerous, especially going off. There was the potential for MoneyHalla to find like a slide off D-Light into the ground pound to tap that stock in.
Oh, that recovery, Bunny was able to get a neutral leg for it. MoneyHalla, I'm surprised that one was not enough to be able to KO off the top. So, MoneyHalla gets back on. Playing nice and patient here, just waiting out. He's got the time advantage at the moment. Bunny has to pick something eventually, and then gets called out for what looked like the GC, either sidelight or D-light, one of the two of them.
Yeah, just that was destruction there. So looking at the games that MoneyHalla has on Priya, he's played 430 games with Priya. He has a 78.14% win rate, which means a 21.86% loss rate. So I think that's pretty good. Like we come from skewed. Like the times that we point out the win-loss ratio is usually from people like Kaina, who have like the craziest looking win rate of all time. And so our like perception of that is a little bit skewed to where if it's not like a 90+% win rate, where did Bunny go? She's disappeared from the end screen. Hopefully she can come back for the next game as we move into game 5.
That's what happens when you fight Chakram, you disappear. You know, sounds like he needed this. Sounds like he needed the Priya at the moment. I mean, you saw how dominant that game was. He was not able to do that against Bunny previously. I like MoneyHalla's gameplay. I like his gameplay a lot. Probably, you know, one of my favorite Great League players at the moment. It just, you know, no casting bias. He's doing what he has to do. But, like, you know, you guys can read my expression. I hope you understand what I'm feeling. I'm sure some MoneyHalla fans are feeling the same way. I like to see him win. I like to see him succeed. I also like seeing Bunny win and succeed. Seems like they will not be opting to go to the stage, or maybe wrong legend. Yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about the Switch? How do you feel that MoneyHalla felt like he needed to do this?
I mean, like, do what you got to do to win. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, like, what is your job here? If you're someone who goes like 3-2, and you're here to just like have a good time in the competition of esport, like, that's one thing. If you're trying to win, which is like, that's what MoneyHalla's job here is. Everybody in this tournament at this point is like, their job is to win. Their goal is to win. Do whatever you have to win.
What's the point without doing that to prove a point, you know? I love low-tier heroes, even though Great Sword is definitely not like a low-tier at the moment, but I love like the character and the legend and like the weapon specialists that are just like, no, I want to be able to prove it. It's so like anime pro tag, but I think it's cute. I think it's endearing. You know, I've never switched off of Ness in any of my years of competitive play when I was competing in another game. Even in terrible, horrible losing matchups or when DLC came out that was really, really good. So, you know what? It just breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. It's like an angel losing their wings, man. Okay? That's the best way to put it. But, you know what? At the end of the day, listen, he's doing this, I believe, to get potentially into top 8. This might be the top 8 qualifier. So there's a lot on the line at the moment, and I totally get it. Just, you know, I felt like acknowledging the emotion that I feel, that I'm sure maybe somebody else relates to. You're about the game, you're about winning, but, you know, I like it when the weapon specialist gets to show it off.
3, 2.
Yeah, I like winners. I like people who win. I like the people who go in and they do what they need to win the video game. I like winning.
Well, let's see. Is this going to be enough? Now, the switch from Bunny, I think, is fascinating here. And actually very, very smart. I don't feel like gauntlets do that amazing, neither does Axe into chalk rooms, but you know what definitely does? It is going to be the orb, but MoneyHalla going all the way up there, not enough to take that stock off the top on Bunny, but man, she took a lot of damage. Now we see the orb, okay? This is the weapon at the moment to counter chalk room, based on what I've seen yesterday, based on what we've seen today, but she's not been able to land yet.
I think Scythe is also a good idea just in general because it's such a strong weapon. Like, it's one of the best weapons in the game, especially if you take out Chakram. I think it's like arguably a top 2 weapon. The other one probably being Hammer right now in current meta with Blasters just a little bit behind. I think Orb's a very strong weapon as well. So yeah, I think the swap, she has at least a level 25. She has the black color scheme as well. If you give me a second to look, I can find what her legend level is on this.
But at the moment, MoneyHalla is just continuing this lead. He put himself off stage for a second. Bunny not going to be able to get the neutral cell. Money instead finding one of his own, not enough to KO. Now he has the sword. Okay, can he get this KO? And he gets, oh, sidelight. I don't know about that sidelight. That was supposed to be a D-light, but it's okay. He doesn't take too much extra damage. He was, you know, he got the stock. Bunny now needs to be able to make this comeback. What's it going to be? She is unarmed. She's been known to play unarmed. Now she has the Scythe. Scythe, definitely not the easiest weapon to find KOs with, though. Because it's either edge guards or like a pretty late D-light. Let's see if he can...
She could also potentially use the signature kit. Like some of the fates that we've seen this weekend have been using the side sig specifically, like the minimum charge time for the shotgun blast, as opposed to charging it like all the way up or long enough that you have to do to get the more like longer range focused beam. But some information on this fate from Bunny. It's her second highest leveled legend. She has she's a level 45 fate, right behind the Rayman. Of course, her Rayman is a level 100. Like, she spent most of the time on that.
So it's nice that she has this in her pocket, right? Like, I do, you know, if it was my favorite thing to come out of Priya, oh my gosh, the recovery didn't actually KO, is that it has inspired people now to start going in with some weapon counter picks, right? Matchups are becoming a little bit more relevant, I feel like, especially when you think about the balance of Orb versus Chakram. There's not a lot of very explicit like winning weapon matchups in the game, but it does seem like Orb, if there is a winning weapon matchup, it's probably Orb Chakram.
I think we also just have like more weapons that are relevant in the sort of like top tier that isn't like SSS plus, but like more S level type beat. Like you have Orb that's competitive there, you have Scythe, you have Hammer, you have Blasters. Ooh,
my
nice
gosh, those
side air.
extensions were excellent. Side air coming out again. Bunny looking for the call out, jumping up and away. MoneyHalla trying to land here. Wow.
Yeah, he's just... MoneyHalla's doing a great job of zoning her out. She's able to grab that orb, the recovery. It just... It feels like he's not able to set up as many situations that like a Chakram player wants. Like he's using a lot more side airs. He's using a lot more grounded moves than a lot of the other Chakram players that are out there. Just like focusing on that dare and then getting the bounce off of that in an air recovery or just the down air. Wow. He was on like the bottom side when he hit that. So he didn't get the dump of force at the top and Bunny just kind of like fell out of it by the time it was over.
We know MoneyHalla still able to clutch out that stock, got the D-Light recovery, the true combo. And now, Bunny, she needs that side light. She needs a way. Oh my gosh, no dodge out there. MoneyHalla just opting to fall for a second. She tries to go for the double. He's all the way up high. That is a dangerous position to be in.
Oh, this is so scary.
Oh, she took a lot of damage.
Okay.
She gets the recovery, but MoneyHalla got so much extra credit. That could have been so bad for Bunny. Game 5, last stock each. Right now, it's not the scythe. It is the orb versus the chakra. They're completely even, Sparky. Who is it going to be? Who is going to be coming out on top? Both of them with their pocket picks. Not the
Yeah,
legs.
this is scary in game 5. It's going to be really frustrating for Bunny to lose this set after the MoneyHalla swap. Like, you beat MoneyHalla for all intents and purposes, and then you realize all of a sudden, oh, he also practiced Priya for this weekend, and now you have to deal with this brand new thing that you thought you had figured out.
Okay,
Okay,
this
it's going to be the
that
setup.
was reversal.
Oh,
Bunny
he
was
sweat
running off
beats.
stage. Double down.
Please don't drop
As
this,
much
Bunny.
grip. He got the jumps back. That was the clutchest neutraler of all time. The weapon lost to get back down. He resets the situation. Neutral has been reset. The NSIG is safe. This is anybody's game to take. Oh my goodness, it's not enough to KO off the top.
It feels like Bunny is falling apart here. Like, she doesn't have weapon advantage. It feels like the second she gets back on the stage, MoneyHalla has weapon advantage and finds a move to send her back over to the wall. Now he has Chakram. She's able to touch off of that, but is she going to be able to do anything with it? She gets past the recovery, picks up the orb. Bunny's without a weapon. The next weapon is going to be sword. She's just going to play around it. She seems to not worry too much about MoneyHalla grabbing the sword.
He does not want to be
she's too
above.
far away to
does not
punish
want to get his
the
landing
D-Light.
pod. The recovery didn't connect. The dodge was able to get past it.
Oh, Dara, this is so tense. Oh, no, it's over, dude.
Bunny!
Why would you do that? Bunny, what are you doing? You pushed the game into almost 6 minutes long. MoneyHalla is almost in the center of the stage, and you think you can get back on with a GC side signature. That's crazy.
Look, that's one of the things that if it hits, it hits. However, that side sig is not fast enough. It is not deceptive enough. You don't. That was just not it. That was just not the option. Money saw that. He was not committing off stage.
Yeah,
He
Sandwich, slow
was in
this
the
one
best
down.
possible position.
Oh,
He was
come
backed
on.
up. Backed up. He was like, yeah.
Replay
that's how
it
you
and
want to
slow
get
it
back
down.
on.
The
Last stock,
place
last hit.
that
Wow.
Bunny started that. Oh my gosh, it was so unbelievably reactable. Even if you're like me and 33 years old, but if you're young like MoneyHalla, like you got that reaction time on lock. Like you're ready for that. I cannot believe that she went for that. That was crazy. Look how far back he is. He's not even like dash dancing a lot. Those are slow dashes.
Yeah, he is making sure that he's in the right position to punish whatever Bunny's got going on. She didn't even need to do that. She just waited off stage even more. Money was in absolutely no position where he was going to do anything crazy like that. He was playing it safe. He was playing patient. He was playing reserved. He wasn't overcommitting out there. He just wanted to see if Bunny was going to mess up. And then the one time that she does, he was prepared. He was ready for it.
They were just so far away from each other. Like MoneyHalla was almost essentially in center stage. She was so far away when she activated that signature that almost if, say the game broke in that moment and she was able to instantly teleport right to the ending spot of that signature, I still think he would have been too far away. Even if it was literally instant. The second she pressed the button, it was a pure teleport right over there, and the hitbox is in that moment at that time. Like, there's no shot that is going to hit at any point in time against like any player, especially someone at this level. It feels like you can't even call that a Hail Mary. That's like throwing a Hail Mary when you like know that your teammates cannot physically make it that far down the field, and you're literally praying. It's beyond a Hail Mary, and you are literally praying in that moment. That's tough.
And the saddest part is that is actually how we will be ending off the side stream. That was the last set of the side stream. Bunny, listen, I'm a big fan of Bunny. I love both of these players sincerely. The gameplay is incredible, but at the end, I think she handed that win on a silver platter to MoneyHalla. He ended up playing a little bit more patient. He played a little bit more resilient. With the way that MoneyHalla has been playing, I do genuinely think he's going to go through a tear in top 8. Guys, I'm telling you, keep your eyes. Everybody really has the guys on MoneyHalla. And, maybe don't keep your eyes too closely on that chalk room, because I don't think it's going to stay post-nerfs, depending on how substantial the nerfs end up being. But I'm telling you, MoneyHalla is one of the most important players to be looking at the moment. So congratulations to Money. She does get knocked out. Yeah, what's up, Sparky?
Yeah, like one of the things, even before we got the swap onto Priya, it's like, what do you think about when you think of Bunny? One, you think of the Rayman, and what's the second thing you think about off stage? She's so good off stage. She's so wild and unpredictable off stage. But like, MoneyHalla was contesting her off stage. Maybe he wasn't winning every single opportunity that he had. Maybe he wasn't even winning necessarily the majority, but I bet it was close to at least half. Like, he was going toe to toe with Bunny over on the edge, even before the swap to Priya. And then on the swap to Priya, you're just kind of not playing over there very often whatsoever. You saw it right at the very end. He's not going to try and contest her off stage. He's going to sit almost in the middle of the stage. Maybe he'll dash back and forth slowly, not even quickly. He's not even doing like instant dash dancing to try to, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here. It's not quick at all. And he's just going to let her come back up to the platform and then punish her there. So he's taking away, whether he's playing a Mugi or whether he's playing Priya, he's taking away like one of her major routes of success, one of her major win conditions, and either contesting her or avoiding it completely. And that's very smart on a way to like how to deal with Bunny.
Yeah. Because let me tell you, anybody that tries to challenge her off stage, we have seen what she does to people again and again. She demolishes them. So everybody, before we close out, let's do 2 quick things. The first of which, I don't know if you guys want to follow us online. Yeah, there we go. Our lovely moderator has already taken care of that for us. The second thing is, I just want to take a quick little look at bracket to see what you guys are going to be having on mainstream shortly before we go on over and raid them. So it seems like is the winners finals, Sandstorm and Balloon Boy, which is really fun. That's really, really exciting. And then down in the elimination side of things, we're going to be seeing Flower up against Wubs. That's going to be a really fun one. That's going to be a really exciting one. We're also going to end up seeing Raidish up against MoneyHalla, the winner of which has to go up against Marckiemoo. And in the Flower and Wub set, the winner of which has to go on and fight Marckiemoo. So Marckiemoo on one side of eliminations, Marckiemoo on the other side of eliminations. 2 of them absolute demons to run into bracket. Everybody, thank you so much for listening to us talk about video games. That is going to do it for us today, as well as for the side stream. Hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and we're gonna head on over to the mainstream to watch the rest of today's matches with all of you. Sparky, any final thoughts?
No, that's all I've got. I'm looking forward to seeing how this wraps up for North America.
All right, goodbye, bye, have a good day, see you guys soon.